plan for water to be supplied to the LEAP District's first phase in Lebanon. $50 million in state funding for that was discussed by the State Budget Committee on Thursday. But lawmakers like State Rep Greg Porter are concerned there is a lack of planning for beyond the first phase.
What other projects may not occur within that Lebanon community, that project area, because of the lack of water. And I know there's still water studies going forth.
Talking to Wish TV, one study is looking at piping water in from the the Wabash River. Some growing pains, but also some growth from Anthony Richardson last night says head coach Shane Steichen.
Out there and playing a good amount tonight was great. So, again, excited. We're 17 days away from Houston. So
the Indianapolis Colts beating the Bengals 27-14 in their last preseason game. Richardson throwing for a touchdown, but also had an interception. Traffic on the 5s, Matt Bear.
Yeah, Kirk, crash south side, stop 11 Road at Emerson Avenue. And the interstate's looking pretty glorious right now. If you're making an airport run from downtown, say the hotel's taking some people out rideshare style. Looking good westbound 70 from the South Split Meridian, Illinois, West Street, all the way out to the airport collector. Nothing to slow you down here at the moment. Traffic sponsored by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half's recruiting professionals utilize their award-winning AI to connect business with highly skilled talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent. I'm Matt Bear with traffic on the 5s. Follow us at WIBC Traffic.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto Chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Aren't you worried Max might run off? He's safe. We installed invisible fence. See a special collar? So he can roam freely but won't leave the yard? Exactly. And it was so easy. Invisible fence installed everything and even sent out an expert to train Max. I need invisible fence for Roxy.
Go to invisiblefence.com to get started today, absolutely risk-free. Give your pet freedom and safety. Go to invisiblefence.com right now and schedule your free consultation. Go to invisiblefence.com. That's invisiblefence.com.
The forecast from the American Standard Cooling Weather Center.
Good morning. Crisp start, but sunny finish this afternoon with warmer temperatures, a high of 85. Mostly clear, not as chilly, and quiet overnight, a low down to 63. I'm Wish TV Storm Track 8 meteorologist Marcus Bailey for 93 WIBC.
62 and sunny on Monument Circle. I'm Kurt Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday. It's August 23rd, 6 minutes after 9 with Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. We have a lot to get to today.
Are you okay?
I'm okay. Don't admit that was an off-air conversation.
Oh. Okay, I just want to make sure you're okay.
I'm okay.
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 Very good.
But if I disappear...
Now you're thinking about it.
If I disappear, you know where I'm at. I mentioned to Rob that I have to use the restroom, all right?
And I told her, let's see how long you can hold it.
Well, at least for the next 10 minutes, okay?
You ever do that when you got to go? It's like, when your gas tank is getting low and you're going to see how low you can go? You ever do that with going to the bathroom?
With the restroom?
Yeah. See
No, I try not to put myself in that position. I'm doing it right now, and it's uncomfortable. Okay, so a lot to get to today. Like, for example, Joe Hogsett may be getting a 32% raise because, well, he's totally earned that. You've got the IEDC securing budget approval for their LEAP pipeline project.
Hundreds of millions of dollars to facilitate the development of some of the largest, most powerful corporations in the world, but no money for you for property taxes, Casey.
True.
Yeah.
You also had Kamala Harris accepting the Democrat nomination last night. But before we get to any of that, can we talk about something really important?
Absolutely.
Today is your dog Bruce's 10th birthday.
That's right. Yes, it is. What a beautiful boy. And just I could not ask for a better friend. And he is 10 years old today.
How's he doing? Is he good? Last time I saw him, Has a vet told you maybe he needs to go on a diet?
He's an old man baby. I mean, by a bulldog, he weighs like 62 or 63
Is he in
pounds.
line with what he should be weighing?
For bulldogs, oh, yeah.
He's built like a tank.
Yeah.
He is. He's got a meathead.
But he's relatively, like, skinny by bulldog standards. So Bruce weighs almost the exact same as he did when he was 6 months old.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of overfed him very early in life. They put him on a very strict and, from my perspective, expensive dog food. And I was like, we cannot allow this to happen again. So he weighs basically the exact same as he did when he was 6 months old.
Are you going to give him a special treat for his birthday? Put a little party hat on him?
So, true story. When Bruce turned 1, we had an actual birthday party for Bruce.
Yeah.
We rented a gazebo or whatever they call those shelters at the Brownsburg Park. And I'm not kidding, Casey.
Yeah.
Hundreds of people showed up.
Yeah.
We just said, we're having a dog birthday party. We're going to show up at 1 o'clock. You, no gifts, please. But you show up, bring whatever food you want. We'll have a good time. Hundreds of people showed up for a dog's birthday party. It was the most insane thing ever.
Now, he's had to adjust with Olivia being in the house.
Yeah.
Everything going okay? She's walking around now, so she's not just sitting in a bouncy seat. She's mobile.
Bruce is wonderful, as bulldogs are. Bulldogs, if you have kids, bulldogs are wonderful animals for kids. They're complete dominant maniacs unless they get around children. And they are just phenomenal around. She goes in his room. Bruce has his own room in our house, so he can only destroy one part of the house.
Yeah.
And she goes in there all the time and runs around, and he just sits there and looks at her and is like, woman, what is wrong with you?
But they're buddies. They hang out.
Bulldogs are awesome dogs. They do have a lot of health problems. Thankfully, other than his eyes, Bruce has been very blessed with very good health, knock on wood. And so in human years, that would make Bruce 70 years old today.
Wow.
Isn't it amazing? And I know you had a dog for a long time, how like for an animal, you know, they never actually speak. You never actually, I mean, you have a one-sided conversation with them all the time.
Yeah.
But the amount of joy and companionship that they bring you,
And they're always happy to see you.
and like no matter what phase of your life you are in or what situation in your life you are in, they're just they're always the same, right?
And they're there
the
for
constant.
the ride.
Yeah.
Yep, they're there for the ride. Well, happy birthday to Bruce. We hope he has a fantastic day. Okay, let's talk about what happened last night at the DNC. Kamala Harris accepting the nomination, and she said that it was going to be her vision for America. However, it really didn't contain any policy. It was all sizzle, no steak.
You watched this?
I did. I watched her
Sucker.
speech. I didn't watch the whole night. I just watched her speech. It was about 37 minutes long. A lot of sizzle, no steak. She said, let me be clear many times. However, never said, let me be specific.
Okay, so the big takeaway last night was that the Democrats lied to get people to watch. They leaked this whole, there's some mega celebrity or some very special guest, and then they leaked out TMZ. Now, this is crazy. TMZ almost never gets it wrong. TMZ is almost always right, and they're almost always right first. And they were all in on Beyonce was going to show up, and then there was rumors, it's Taylor Swift's going to show. At one point, was it Don Lemon was saying that it was
George W. Bush was going to be
Is that
there.
who was saying that?
Yeah.
I mean, and then, of course, it was no one. And so that means the Democrats blatantly lied because they knew no one would care at all about seeing her speak, and to try to get people to watch her speak, they lied.
Yeah, TMZ came out and they said, we got this one wrong. Many people saying it was intentional.
Oh, totally.
Just to get people to watch. But the real surprise speaker was Kamala Harris, because nobody thought she would be giving that address a month ago.
Well, right.
She was the surprise.
Well, and again, I'm glad you watched it. I didn't watch it. I was told it was just, I mean, I've heard clips of it, obviously. The whole speech basically was about Donald Trump, right? No actual clear vision for the country, no acknowledgement. I've been in charge for 3.5 years. I mean, this is the laughable part of all of this. It's basically see, this is where they're trying to have the best of both worlds, or have your cake and eat it too, or however you want to describe it. Because she did admit it's her and Biden. It's the same. There is no distance between them. I don't know if she meant to do that or not, but she admitted they're the same person. So you basically have a re-election campaign here. Yet they're trying to run as though she's some new thing. So they're talking about how horrible the country is, yet you've been in charge. And then the craziest thing is the country's so horrible, but yet Joe Biden's one of the greatest presidents of all. Like, how can any of this actually all be true? It cannot.
Yeah, when it came to policy, she consisted of multiple word salads. She's against this. She's in favor of that. She's going to make everything better somehow. The part of her speech that was left out was how exactly is she going to do it? How does she plan to pay for her laundry list of priorities? And the one part, well, there were two things. One, she said that she accepts the nomination on behalf of the people. However, she received 0 votes from the people.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
You have somebody who will be the major party candidate for president, maybe even the president, and she got 0 votes.
Mm-hmm. And then she went on to say that she knows the importance of safety and security at the border.
After decades in law enforcement, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border.
Mm-hmm. However, doesn't want to enforce anything at the border.
What part of Kamala Harris's life, so she's 60, she's been, either through sleeping her way to the top or an actual elected person, involved in the political process for 30 plus years now.
Mm-hmm.
So what part of her life would you go, in terms of actual performance, would you say, wow, what a resounding success?
Well, she was trying to explain how many times she was in the room when negotiations were happening. However, she wasn't in charge of them. In her brief time in the Senate, she didn't author any bills that became law. So you're right. There's no accomplishments there.
This is the thing that's so frustrating to me about politics, is that there are these people who accomplish nothing. They do nothing. And they keep getting elevated. Like, there's no way in the corporate world anyone would elevate you as a worker or give you a promotion if you had accomplished or succeeded at nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And yet in politics, look at this woman. She elevated herself. She gets in by who she's sleeping with. Willie Brown's admitted that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to take my word for it. Take the guy's word who she was sleeping with. And then she proceeds to elevate herself despite having no tangible, oh my gosh, she was so good at blank. And that only exists in the political world.
Well, there is one thing that was very certain after her speech. 1, she loves abortion. And 2, she hates Donald Trump.
Well, it was all about Trump, and that's so it's not weird because what else do they have to talk about? But you've been in charge of everything for 3.5 years, and you don't have anything about yourself to talk about. All it is how much the country sucks. Well, you're in charge of it, and how bad Donald Trump is. It's a crazy thing that this woman might become the president, telling you what a bad job she's done for 3.5 years.
And typically after situations like this, there'll be, the spin room, and somebody like Donald Trump would have someone out there speaking on his behalf, which he did. But then he himself called into Fox News. Yeah. And then when that got cut off, he turned around and called Greg Gutfeld. He was like, no, I'm speaking for myself on this. Said that she was just complaining about everything. And if it's all so awful, why hasn't she done anything about it?
Are we going to talk about your boyfriend next?
RFK.
Yeah, your boyfriend's got a big announcement today.
He's got a big day today. Yeah. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Tony Katz.
We assume that you have one of those kind of soaking tubs.
Oh, you're talking about like over the Coco Motel. The Kokomo there.
The Coco Motel?
Yeah.
Please tell me there's a real place called the Coco Motel.
There is, yeah. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it used to be.
How was I not notified?
How have you not stayed there?
The Coco Motel?
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder how we're still on the air?
No.
Tony Katz, mornings 6 to 9 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Transform your home with Galaxy Concrete Coatings. Say goodbye to cracked, stained floors and hello to durable, stunning surfaces that last. Their cutting-edge technology ensures a beautiful finish every time, and you get to pick out from their many colors. Upgrade your home today like I did. Galaxy Concrete Coatings. They're for garage floors, driveways, pool decks, and patios. They come with a lifetime warranty and one-day professional installation. Call now for a free estimate. 877-417-0635. They're also online at galaxyconcretecoatings.com.
With Tire Discounter's new TD Chat BS, we can detect deception over the phone. Let's call a typical tire store.
Yellow, cheapo tire where we bolt them on for less.
Yes, I need tires and lubricant for my vehicle.
Great! Come on in and we'll slap on some new tires.
And what about the lubricant exchange?
Oh, yeah. We send you over to Ollie's Oil for that. They're right down the road.
Deception. Destination is 5.2 miles away.
Well, I'll be.
Also, 6 out of 10 cars need alignment.
Well, just travel on over to Alignments or Us.
Calculating. Time for 2 additional trips.
You mean you want to do tires, oil change, and alignment all in one fell swoop?
Oh, I observe that Tire Discounters, the home of free alignment, is close by.
Ugh, Tire Discounters.
And they are experts at oil changes, brakes, shocks, and...
I'm losing you.
Hello? I'm sorry. Your system has crashed.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
Americans love using their credit cards, the most secure and hassle-free way to pay. But D.C. politicians want to change that with the Durbin-Marshall credit card bill. This bill lets corporate megastores pick how your credit card is processed, allowing them to use untested payment networks that jeopardize your data security and rewards. Corporate megastores will make more money, and you pay the price. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Learn more at guardyourcard.com. Paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
If you've ever put off dealing with plumbing problems, you don't have to live that way. Maybe you tried to fix a leaky faucet yourself, or you're wishing that slow drain is going to magically start flowing again. Well, it's not. Stop putting things off and call Lance and his local team at LD Smith Plumbing. They'll give you honest advice at a fair price, and they leave your home even better than they found it. That's ldsmithplumbing.com. And tell them your second favorite plumber in the whole world, Denny Smith, sent you. ldsmithplumbing.com.
Hey, Donald Trump Jr. here. Biden is dead set to fulfill his agenda before leaving office. Translation, more money printing and soaring inflation. Is gold the answer to protect your savings and retirement? To find out, get a free info kit from Birch Gold Group by texting the word SHELTER to 989898. Don't let inflation wreck your IRA or 401k. Act now to secure your future. Text SHELTER to the number 989898 for your free info kit from Birch Gold.
Paid for by Birch Gold Group.
Indiana Business Radio, the news you need to get ahead. Indiana's business news leader, weekdays at 6:32 a.m. and 5:56 p.m. on WIBC.
Hey.
What?
You had every opportunity to go to the bathroom during that break, and you didn't do it.
It passed. The feeling. that morning feeling. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. And speaking of if it'll pass or not, will Robert Kennedy Jr. endorse Trump? Will he drop out of the race today? These are the questions we have to know.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with speaking of that morning feeling, because I've seen the photo of you and Robert F. Kennedy Jr. there, and there was definitely some sort of feeling going on.
On his part.
Oh, yeah.
Can you blame him?
No, I mean, absolutely. You two looked like a dime store novel cover just waiting to happen.
He does have Fabio-like pecs, by the way.
Okay, so if you're a Kennedy... yeah, we could see your fingernails were dug into them, Casey. Okay, so if he drops out, which is the big rumor today, I mean, what else would he be doing?
Yeah.
And by the way, at this point, doesn't he have to not only drop out but endorse Trump? I mean, if he weren't going to do that, he would have had to have stamped that out a long time ago, because now people are just going to be enraged if it's anything other than that, because he's allowed that rumor to fester.
Right, he has. But I read something last night that said that his wife, Cheryl Hines, who's a big lib, is not in favor of him endorsing Trump.
He's 70 years old. What does he care what his wife thinks?
Right?
What's she going to do to him?
Make his life miserable?
I mean, the man once was picking up dead bears on the side of the road. Like, that's the lifestyle he's comfortable with. You think he cares anything at 70 what his wife thinks?
It is a natural move if he does endorse Trump. They're both sworn enemies of the CIA and the FBI, so they do have some commonalities there. They also have a lot of differences. A lot of people are very excited about the potential of him working with the Trump administration in some capacity. I don't think that Trump would put him in a cabinet level position, though.
Well, I've said I think the CIA position would be absolutely hilarious and totally perfect. I mean, how could that get any worse? I mean, you can't, so why not do it? I mean, who knows? But the point in all of this is it shows really how hard it is, what a stranglehold the two parties have on our society. And everybody says they want something different. Everybody says that they yearn for something better or bigger or whatever. And yet they keep going back to the same thing over and over and over and over again. And at some point you have to look in the mirror and go, I am the problem. And look, Kennedy didn't run a very good campaign. He didn't really connect with people on a key issue that, hey, 40, 50, 60 million people would say, okay, I'm going to vote based on that. I still think the right third party person could win potentially a presidential election, but it would take a really big name and a really big personality and a lot of really big fundraising with a lot of really savvy political people around them. And other than a name, Kennedy didn't have really any of the rest.
Did you see that the Trump campaign said that they were going to have a special guest join Trump in Arizona?
Did. That's what I'm saying. Like, if it
is it going to be him?
Well, if it's not him, I mean, again, if it's not him, people are going to be just irate because it's been set up. It's the game of politics is the game of reasonable expectations. Under promise and over deliver. It's just like business, right? And so in this case, Trump has essentially, he hasn't said it, but he has said it. Everybody is being led to believe this is it. And if it's, if
it's Beyonce who never shows up.
I mean, I'm trying to think of who's like, if it's Kurt Schilling, a famous Arizona Diamondbacks pitcher, right? You're going to be pretty underwhelmed if that's who waltzes out there on stage. So, but the other thing I'm fascinated in is if you are someone who gave money to Robert F. Kennedy Jr., aren't you a little pissed off right now?
Did you really think he was going to make it all the way, though?
Well, yeah. Why else would you give him money?
I don't know, just to be a disruptor.
I mean, not only is he not going to make it, he's going to align himself with someone you probably don't like, because if you liked that person, you would have been supporting them. And so now it's like your money, not only did it not produce any tangible result with the guy you gave it to, now it's in a weird way going to benefit some guy you don't like.
Yeah, that's true. So what time are they making this? At 2 o'clock, they said, right? Yeah.
2 o'clock.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see. I think if he does endorse Trump, it needs to be a resounding endorsement. He has to be emphatic and full of conviction. Otherwise, he's just going to come across like every other politician who's full of it.
Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I don't think it does that much overall, but if you got 4 or 5 states where 20, 30,000 votes make the difference, I guess it does do something.
Did you see how Trump's campaign is totally trolling Kamala Harris, and they put up that website? They've been complaining that, she's been lacking any sort of policy, even on her own campaign website. So they created one for her called Kamala2024policies.com.
What are people voting on this election?
The economy.
Are they? How could it be this close then?
Their feels.
Well, I mean, this is my question. I struggle to understand what people are actually voting on, because if indeed the polling shows Trump's winning overwhelmingly on the traditional things, the economy, the inflation, the border. So how could he be winning overwhelmingly on those issues, yet the polls show it's very close? I mean, or do we just simply not believe the polls?
Well, I think that's it. You can simply not believe the polls at this point. If you're someone who's supporting the Democrat Party and you're female, well, you're voting for Harris because she's a woman. Rob.
Is that it?
Didn't you hear that?
Is that the thing? Are there that many people that want? I mean, not this many. This is where I struggle with the on-demand abortion crazy people. Not this many people are having on-demand abortions. So you're voting on something you don't even want, or you're not trying to do. Like what?
Well,
Why?
It's also the fear-mongering. They're taking your rights away.
But unless you intend on sucking the brains out of a defenseless fetus, what difference does it make whether it's legal or not?
Exactly.
I mean, you could ban it in all 50 states. Unless you intend to do it, what do you care?
Yeah. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Discover cancer care that empowers you at Community Health Network MD Anderson Cancer Center, with leading-edge treatment options right in your backyard.
I feel blessed and lucky. If I knew someone that was going through what I was going through, I would definitely encourage them to participate in a clinical trial. For me, it was life-changing.
Learn more at ecommunity.com/cancer.
The hot summer and the hot deals are coming at Tom Roush Lincoln. 0% for 60 months is back. Get 0% APR for 60 months on every new 2024 Lincoln Navigator. Plus get an additional $4,000 off MSRP. You can also take $3,000 off every new 2024 Lincoln Corsair 70 available. So get in here for one of those hot summer deals at Tom Roush Lincoln in Fishers.
For well-qualified buyers with approved credit. Not all buyers will qualify. Taxes and dealer fees extra. Stock number L24401. MSRP 107,425. Stock number L24284. MSRP is 43,435. See dealer for complete details.
This week, Sundown Gardens has 50% off all bald and burlap shade trees. 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield. SundownGardens.com.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
It's a done deal. 66 and mostly sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 9:30. The final night of the DNC ends with the Democratic nominee rallying all those behind her. Fox's Jeff Manasso.
It was the culmination of the last 4 nights hearing from the Democratic presidential nominee, Kamala Harris.
I accept your nomination to be President of the United States of America.
The theme last night, For Our Future, as Harris laid out an agenda of a brighter and more hopeful America.
A chance to chart a new way forward.
And while the overall vibe here has been about joy, there was hope for many that Harris would finally get to policy. At the DNC in Chicago, Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
The Arkansas Supreme Court is ruling that an abortion rights amendment to the state's constitution is ineligible to go on the state's November ballot. The High Court there on Thursday agreed with Arkansas leaders that that organizers of the amendment didn't submit all the paperwork needed. The second largest diamond ever dug up this week in Botswana, the 2,492 carat stone was pulled out of the Caraway mine. The largest is the 3,106 carat Cullen diamond found back in 1905. Your opening bell report on 93 WIBC brought to you by Absolute Wealth Management, LLC. Some rebounds to start the day. The Dow is up 181 to 41,009. The NASDAQ up 188 to 19,767. And the S&P 500 is up 33 to 5,627. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Healthcare.gov is here for you when life happens. If you lost your health coverage because of turning 26, going off Medicaid, leaving your job, or moving, you could be eligible to enroll in new coverage now. And if you need to update your coverage because of marriage or having a baby, you could also be eligible. But don't wait. There's a limited time to enroll. Check your eligibility at healthcare.gov today. Life happens. Get covered. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Fox, CNN, other news sources are reporting home prices are expected to decline into 2025, even after the election. Maximize your home sales price now before this downturn with the agent proven to sell for top dollar, Mark Dietl. Perhaps you're worried about settling for less money with a lowball instant offer. Mark Dietl guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Tom and Kim from Sharpeville had to say about working with Mark Dietl. We were wanting to move to Florida and looking to sell our home.
We wanted to sell quick with an agent who would maximize the sales price. After being approached by Mark Diedel's team, we knew they were right for us. It was incredible. Mark sold our home on the first day at full price. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend, and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Diedel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdiedel.com. That's Mark, Dietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
To celebrate Be Employee Owned, Be's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me. You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Casey.
Rob.
There are still people in our YouTube chat whining that I supported Mike Braun.
You should wait until the voicemail section today.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a mix. People applaud your decision, and others say you flip-flop.
Yes.
Establishment,
Great.
Rob.
Make sure to put that phone call right to the front of the line. I mean,
Okay.
there are still people that are, I mean, my goodness. On one hand, Rob's irrelevant. Nobody listens to Rob. 2 days later, you people are still whining about it. Get over it. If you don't want your property tax cut next year, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Period.
Okay.
Right? Come
Yeah.
on.
All
Get
right.
over it.
So you're going to address all the people that say you're a flip-flopper.
If you people put the amount of time into supporting Rainwater that you do whining at me, he might get more than 5% of the vote this year.
You led people down a path, and then you changed your mind, Rob.
Good grief.
Yeah, all right. We'll talk about that later in the show. Let's talk about what's going on with the State Budget Committee. Yesterday, they approved combined $101 million for that water pipeline for the LEAP project.
So this is complete crap. These people who voted for this are gross. They're gross people. And remember this next year, because look, here's what's going to happen with this property tax bill. So Casey, I'm pretty good at this, right? I've kind of, my right percentage is pretty good. So
dabbled a little.
So let me tell you how this is going to go over the net. What is it? We're August. This is August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. So over the next, what is that? I'm counting here. 8 months. Let me tell you how this is going to go, okay? So Braun's going to win. He's going to boat race the competition. He's going to roll in there with a mandate next January to fix the property tax issue. I talked to someone in the know yesterday, and they said momentum is beginning to build for his plan amongst the people who will kind of start that process. And then what is going to happen is you will see a litany, a laundry list of local government people who are going to start showing up at the State House, and it'll be this bizarro coalition of townships and cities and towns and angry red-shirted teachers, and the mass hysteria screaming is going to begin over how you're going to deny policemen and firemen, and there'll be no teachers, and blah, 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 blah. And you're going to see lawmakers, because the General Assembly has on multiple occasions proven itself to be not willing to stand up to insanity, be looking for an exit ramp. And they're going to look for any reason to try to not do this thing once the pressure gets cooked up. But that's where we come in, right? This is part of what the endorsement was about. We, the audience, have to be stronger than these local government people who are going to be there totally in it for themselves. We got to be in it for ourselves, too, and we got to be louder and bigger than they are to tell those lawmakers, hey, we voted for this. You do what we voted for. But in the process of all this, remember this day. Remember, the state of Indiana had $100 million to facilitate economic development for some of the largest, most powerful corporations in the entire world, who I can assure you do not need the money. This is just, they've got to be on this whole project well over $500 million now in terms of public commitments. Now, what's going to happen with this is the taxpayers of Lebanon, and if you live in Lebanon, you better wake up to what's going on here. The way these low-interest loans work is the lender is going to get their money back. In this case, the lender is going to be the state of Indiana. They're going to get their money back, or ensure they get their money back, on rate increases on the people who live in the community. It just happened in Brownsburg, not to this degree,
but it happened. That's how it works. I've seen it happen before. So if you live in Lebanon, get ready, Bal. Your utility rates are about to skyrocket for the amount of money that Lebanon is going to be on the hook for.
Okay, so the chief operating officer of the IFA said that the pipeline would, quote, satisfy water needs not only in the Leap District, but also in Boone County for the next 15 to 20 years.
Yeah, well, but this is about Holcomb's, and they're sprinting it now, right? They don't want to put Braun in this position to have to deal with it. They know there is immense pushback. They know if they make it to the next legislative session, there is huge momentum to not only rein in the IEDC, which has to happen next year. There has to be a lot more transparency. There has to be a lot more safeguards, because right now Micah called it, the shadow government, right? I mean, it is. It's a shadow government agency that doesn't have accountability. It doesn't have transparency. And they know if they make it to next year, there's a good chance that the General Assembly will do quite a bit to curtail what's going on right now. So they're sprinting while Holcomb is still there to get this project, get these resources committed and across the finish line.
Well, the one tenant that we are absolutely positive that wants to be in this LEAP project, Eli Lilly, and I did a little research, and you can find this on WIBC.com. Eli Lilly, number 4 in the top 10 businesses in Indiana with the highest revenue. $31,124 million. That's what they made this past year.
Well, we did this the other day. Now, their market cap now is $973 billion.
Right, but they need help getting this real estate deal done.
It's utterly ridiculous that the state of Indiana is taking money from poor and middle class people, and they're giving it to Lilly and Lilly type endeavor. Eli Lilly needs help with real estate transactions? No. What Eli Lilly needed was the government to come in and strong-arm people out of land they otherwise would not have sold, and that is what this is all about. This is about using the force of government. We've had the people who live out there come in. We've heard the details of how these negotiations go. And yes, the government will look at you and go, well, we didn't force anyone to sell. We didn't eminent domain anyone. And while that's technically true, if someone from the government shows up at your doorstep and says, essentially lets you know, this is going down one way or another, you can fight it and spend a bunch of money, or you can take this, and this is what's the gross part of this super premium price per acre we will buy the land from. What is the average person going to do? What are they going to do?
Yeah, they're going to sell it, try and get the best price they absolutely can. And even if they want to fight it, you got to know that they don't have the resources and the funds compared to what the state has.
But then the crazy thing about this is the Democrats are the ones that are fighting against this, and it's the Republicans in the General Assembly that approved the plan.
Yeah.
So just remember this next year, because the battle's going to be on in January next year over this property tax fight. Just remember days like this when you have the state has $100 million sitting around to facilitate economic development for these mega corporations, but there's not going to be if they plead poverty or inability to help you.
Yeah.
It's complete. It's complete crap, Casey.
So Southwest Airlines yesterday announced plans to add a nonstop daily flight from Indianapolis to Nashville. They said that this new flight is going to begin on March 6th. They've been pursuing this nonstop flight with Southwest for over 7 years now.
Say that again.
Southwest Airlines announced a daily nonstop flight from Indy to Nashville, Tennessee.
Seems like a
that's one of those flights,
drivable
right?
Trip, right?
It's one of those flights, but by the time you get up in the air, you're already descending to come back down.
I mean, like
just a quick little hop.
Okay, so how far is it to Nashville, Tennessee? I'm always fascinated by people who like fly to Chicago or whatever.
6-hour drive.
6 hours.
Yeah.
So by the time so let's like you get in your car and you go. Okay, so I start the trip 6 hours. If they got to go to the bathroom 9 times like you, maybe 6.5.
Oh, it's even shorter than that. I'm sorry. Maps has it at 4 hours and 14 minutes.
4 hours and 14 minutes. Okay, even better. I was going to say, I thought that was a little long. But again, I know you got to get out and stretch your legs and go to the bathroom and like 30 times every trip. So, but by the time you go to the airport, check in,
go
sit
through
there,
security,
wait for your flight, get on the plane goes,
The plane lands, you get off, get away. There's no way it's faster to fly than drive. There's no way it's faster to fly than drive.
Yep. So they're saying that Indianapolis and Nashville share businesses in many of the same target industries like healthcare, tech, logistics, manufacturing, motorsports, and music, and that the cities are close enough for weekend getaways. And that's the other thing. Even if you do that little hop on a flight, you don't have a car when you're down there, so you better be staying somewhere walkable, but you're still going to have to get a ride from the airport to your hotel.
Yes. This is why I don't fly anywhere, Casey.
I was really
surprised. It doesn't make any sense.
I was looking up some flights last night, and airfare flights are relatively inexpensive compared to what they have been right now. And I think it's because of all of the nonsense that's going on flights.
Well, would you want to get on an airplane?
No, absolutely not. No, I would drive. And if I were going to Nashville, I'd get in my car.
What are we doing next?
You know what? We've got to talk about the riders. You know what a rider is? When someone comes to concert, they give you the list of all the things that they want in their backstage room.
Oh, yeah. Like your green M&Ms or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Indiana State Fair released the riders of all the artists that they've had, and some of them are pretty incredible. Ooh. So we're going to talk about that coming up from 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, I watched every bit of the DNC. Did the Democrats think the people were going to fall for that? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
People are talking about Window Nation. Their Window Nation customer, Vicky, says, we couldn't be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 five-star reviews. That's because Window Nation is all about the value. And this August, they're giving you great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus no interest or payments for 24 months. And if you act now, you'll get an extra $250 credit.
Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Hurry, this big sale ends August 31st. Schedule that in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
Let's talk about my future. Tomorrow's gonna be here before you know it. And so is the expense for me to go to college or trade school. Room and board, books, tuition, there's a lot of things to pay for. That's why it's important to start saving. Indiana 529 is a great way to save while getting tax advantages now. Visit myindiana529.com to start for as little as $10. We will both be happy you did. Please read the disclosure booklet carefully before investing. Sponsored by Indiana 529.
We all have people in our lives we interact with. Maybe it's your favorite barista, a neighbor who waves to you every morning, a coworker you grab lunch with, or maybe it's me, the hairstylist you've gone to for years. What if you learned I had a substance use disorder? Would it change how you see me? It's okay to see the addiction, but when you choose to see the person, not just their disease, it can help change someone's life. Learn more at seebeyondtheaddiction.org.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730. Shh.
The silence you just heard? You could have used that space to reach your customers. Get your message in front of your customers. Text business to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
Join WIBC this Saturday 9 to 1 for the Home and Garden Show live from Sullivan Hardware. Meet us at 71st and Keystone for live music, big green egg demos, and a lot of food during Indie Egg Fest at Sullivan Hardware, 71st and Keystone.
He could be getting a big raise. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett and some other city county officials getting a bump in their paycheck. It was proposed, and next week that raise could go into effect from $95,000 a year to $125,000 a year. 32% increase.
Okay, so this will be the theme of our show from now until next April when the General Assembly adjourns, is exposing how much waste and abuse takes place in local governments. Because, again, the narrative you're going to hear is there's no money, and if you do the property tax reforms, you'll keep cops and firemen off the streets, right? Well, apparently the city of Indianapolis has so much money that they're proposing giving this horrific mayor, who is currently embroiled in a disgusting scandal that is putting a stain and a black eye on the entire city, which involves him clearly, at the very least, doing nothing. And I think a reasonable person would jump to the conclusion he covered up the horrific, heinous, alleged actions of his former number two. The city is a disgrace. The city is overrun by panhandlers and druggies. Look at the violence in the city. This guy, to steal a phrase from Judge Smales from Caddyshack, sucks at his job, and they have so much money laying around that they're proposing giving him a $30,000 raise. Do you know how many people's property tax decrease that would offset? Many, probably close to an entire street. Boom, we solved that answer right there. It's not a lack of revenue. These local governments have more money than they know what to do with, and the fact that they're proposing to give this guy 1 penny more than he currently makes is disgusting.
Yeah, so it would be the first pay raise for the mayor's office since 2002, but you're talking about giving it to a guy who's been absolutely complicit with this sexual harassment case going on with Thomas Carl Cook. And you mentioned the crime and the vagrants, but let's also talk about the botched MLS deal. You know, it could have been done quicker, possibly if they had a developer. Oh, wait, they did. And then Hogsett stepped away from that because he thought he had a plan. What have we heard about that? Is a team coming?
Well, can we get past this crap about, because I heard this in Warehouseburg, and we'll get to Warehouseburg next hour, and how the one council member just skadoodled out of her responsibility last night, but is still taking her money. This lie that these people tell in order to justify their bad decisions, that, well, if we don't raise the pay, we won't get anyone good. First of all, that's a giant load of crap, because if you're getting into government for the money, you ain't good, and I don't want you there. But second of all, look at what we have right now. Greg Ballard, who worked before Hogsett, was fine. He made the same amount of money that Joe Hogsett made. He was very good. It's who we elect and who you, the Democrats, who control the city of Indianapolis, who control the city county council, put forward as your candidate for mayor. If you, the Democrats, would pick better people, then we would have better representation. But they're also going to raise pay for the assessor, the auditor, the coroner, the recorder, the surveyor, the treasurer. I mean, they're just throwing money out at these people. So again, I don't want to hear any crap about if we do property tax reform, we're going to take police or fire off the streets, because they're just throwing money at people right now who are already in the positions.
So this proposal is going to go to the Council Administration and Finance Committee on Tuesday, a 32% pay raise. 32%. Rob, when was the last time you got a 32% pay raise?
Well, we have to produce in our industry, right? So obviously I signed a contract extension this past year. It involved a raise, but it was tied to the production that we put forward. We produce X, we get a percentage of that. That's how the real world works. I mean, it wouldn't be okay even if Hogsett were really good at his job. This is a disgustingly large amount of money, but the state did the same thing. Remember, they gave all those statewide offices these huge raises, these people who were already in office. I mean, it is
disgusting the amount of money these statewide lawmakers make to do this job that's supposed to be an honor. It's supposed to be a privilege, like especially if you rise to the level of governor or lieutenant governor or the mayor of the capital city. You should be doing that out of a sense of civic obligation and accepting I'm giving up money. Although who would hire Joe Hogsett? Like, where would Joe Hogsett go now?
Voters in Indianapolis, apparently.
What option does Joe Hogsett really have if he weren't the mayor of the city of Indianapolis, given the stain, the brown streak that now follows Joe Hogsett around? Like, come on.
Most people are complaining that their current salary isn't keeping up with the cost of living.
Who cares?
Here's this guy getting a 32% bump.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, these politicians pleading poverty or crying for themselves or whatever else. I mean, it's utterly ridiculous.
All right, let's talk about what happened with the Indiana State Fair. So it was a blues legend who was paid the most to perform this year, $130,000 for Buddy Guy to play.
That's just to show up and play a set list?
Yep, that's what they paid him.
Kev, how much you get for your band when you show up somewhere? Is it $130,000 over or under?
It's probably $100.
Yeah.
He's lucky if he gets $130.
Yeah, and that's pretty good for us, too.
Yeah. But it wasn't just the paycheck that he requested. He had some backstage requests as well, like fresh squeezed orange juice with pulp.
Oh.
Got to have the pulp in there. Pulp can move, baby.
Okay, so did Buddy Guy really generate $130,000 worth of revenue for the state fair? Because the premise of having the people play.
We'll pay you this, but we're going to get a return on our investment.
Right, so did Buddy Guy, were people, and I'm not trying to be facetious, I'm genuinely asking, are there enough people out there who otherwise, and this is the key, otherwise would not have come to the state fair to see Buddy Guy?
Is he that much of a draw?
Who's the actor? The actor guy,
Keanu Reeves?
Keanu Reeves.
That guy?
I could genuinely see
Dog Star.
Hyper excitable women such as yourself who would go out there just to see him,
get a glimpse of him,
stare at him and I could genuinely see, okay, you would probably get a lot of people who otherwise might not go to the fair would go just to look at this guy badly play his bass guitar. But this Buddy Guy, I mean, is that really worth $130,000 plus bennies?
Okay, so you mentioned Dog Star, Keanu Reeves' band. They were paid $100,000, and their backstage requests included Gatorade, regular Coke, Perrier sparkling water, LaCroix. They also wanted a Keurig-style coffee maker with pods. They asked for some blueberry fig bars, a box of Cheez-Its, a can of Pringles, 6 bars of dark chocolate, a box of chocolate snacks, peanut M&Ms, 6 bananas, and a tray of assorted cheeses and fresh fruit.
Imagine the arrogance you have to have as a human being to demand all of this. 6 bananas. Better not be 5, better not be 7. It better be 6 bananas.
They did ask for some Heineken and red wine. That was turned down. We'll get you your bananas, but not your booze. It's Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
So I came to Advent because I was experiencing recurrent sinus infections. As a new mom, it was really kind of difficult.
Many of our patients complain of sinus infections. The headaches, fatigue, and nasal stuffiness have a profound effect on their lives.
I just felt like your sickness starts affecting your energy level and, the things that you really enjoy doing. That really was a breaking point for me.
So Molly came to Advent. Abnormally tight sinuses and swollen turbinates led to simple breathing triangle solutions that ended up taking about 20 minutes in office. And very soon thereafter, she was breathing freely.
I'm just in awe at the amount of air that I'm able to breathe in and out each night, and I haven't had a sinus infection since the procedure.
I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. When you breathe well, you do live better.
Results may vary.
PA Jewelers in Brownsburg is your place for fine jewelry, custom pieces, one-of-a-kind pieces, vintage pieces, and also your place to sell jewelry. 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms. You have old jewelry from grandma or jewelry you don't wear anymore? Come sell it for top dollar at PA Jewelers. I've sold jewelry there. My wife has. You're going to love the prices. PA Jewelers inside Premier Arms, 3754 South Green Street in Brownsburg, premierarms.com.
Remember the big bad wolf? Michaelis does. Because around here, all that huffing and puffing and blowing houses down stuff comes in the form of rain, wind, and hail. And no matter what your structure is made of, Michaelis is made of first responders and craftsmen who can restore it to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Hey, it's Big Joe for Absolute Comfort, your trusted independent American Standard air dealer. The owner is Chris Wettikin, and he sells the ductless Mitsubishi Electric Mini Split, which is an extremely efficient and cost-effective way to heat and cool your space.
If you're looking to lower your carbon footprint and you're looking to try to get something that's more energy efficient that works well with solar panels or something like that, these are the perfect solution.
Find out more at AbsoluteComfort.org. Absolute Comfort is your trusted independent American Standard Air Mitsubishi Electric Elite Ductless Pro dealer.
Hey, it's Rob from my friends at Garage Doors of Indianapolis with the story of how Garage Doors of Indianapolis did a great job helping my family. Recently, my dad had a garage door crisis. It just stopped working. Garage Doors of Indianapolis was there within hours, were friendly and professional, fixed the problem, and today his garage doors never worked better. For all your garage door needs, call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 317-875-4577, 317-875-4577, or visit them at doorstoday.com. Tell them Rob sent you.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Coming up in 2 minutes, a couple big decisions may be coming soon from Indy city leaders and some financial advice from this candidate for governor. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers studios after Fox News. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 10 o'clock.
The Democratic Party's party is over. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
I promise to be a president for all Americans.
Vice President Harris closing out the convention in Chicago, accepting the nomination.
We are charting a new way forward. Forward to a future with a strong and growing middle class.
And the vice president warned
the consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
Now, former President Trump tells Fox he heard a lot of complaining in the Harris speech.
All of these things that she talked about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, we're going to do everything, but she didn't do any of it. She could have done it 3.5 years ago.
Now, today, the former president will go to Vegas, campaigning in another battleground state, Nevada, then return to Arizona for his second day in a row. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will also be in Arizona to make an announcement today amid speculation he might end his independent run for president.
Kennedy waged a strong campaign. He pulled at 10% at one point, nearly made the debate stage. But there are signs it could be drawing to a close, and none stronger than this news late yesterday. Arizona's Secretary of State tweeting the paperwork of RFK Jr.'s campaign withdrawing from the ballot there as rumors run wild that Kennedy's dropping out entirely and could join forces with Trump, who welcomed the prospect.
That's Fox's Griff Jenkins. A judge in Massachusetts has just declined to dismiss the murder charge against Karen Reed, setting the stage for her retrial in January. The first one ended with a deadlocked jury. Reed's accused of driving an SUV into her Boston police officer boyfriend during a 2022 snowstorm, leaving him to die. She denies hitting him on purpose. Divers off the coast of Sicily pulled the last body out of the wreckage of a sunken luxury yacht today. It went down in a storm Monday, killing billionaire Mike Lynch and 6 other people. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
There may be raises all around. 67 and sunny downtown. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:02. That is what is a piece of legislation maybe looking at over by the City County Council late tonight. Rather on Tuesday, Ryan Hedrick explains.
If it goes through, it would be the first pay raise for the mayor of Indianapolis in more than 2 decades. The proposal says the mayor's salary would be bumped up from $95,000 to $125,000. Marion County's assessor, auditor, recorder, coroner, surveyor, and treasurer would also get pay hikes. The proposal will go to the council's administration and financial committee on Tuesday. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Councilors tonight will be considering a proposal to form an investigative committee into sexual harassment accusations against Mayor Hogsett's Chief of Staff Thomas Cook. A man shot on the west side this morning. He'd been lying in bed when he told the cops that he heard a gunshot from outside and then felt a sting. He's now recovering at the hospital. Police have no clue who shot the man. Senator Mike Braun is campaigning to be the next governor of Indiana. He says he's learning about how to turn his ideas into reality.
In my opinion, do more than the average. You've got to take a little risk. Don't bet the farm. Make sure your ideas are good, and then sell the hell out of it.
Telling WIBC's Kendall Casey that he is committed to lowering property taxes for people. No merger between IFD and Wayne Township Fire after all, both sides agreeing in an announcement on Thursday that a merger is not feasible to begin by 2025. A touchdown pass, a pick six, and a fumble made up Anthony Richardson's night as the Indianapolis Colts beat the Cincinnati Bengals 27-14 in their final preseason game.
The interception, that was a tough one, communication right there. Granson saw something, and I saw something else. We just got to be on the same page right there.
Indy opens up the regular season at home against the Houston Texans September 8th. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Sinus pressure, congestion, snoring, being unable to sleep, being unable to breathe. Yep, it's another sinus infection. You've Googled, watched videos, tried over-the-counter sprays, medications, and home remedies, but nothing ever works. There must be some kind of treatment that can help, right? Indianapolis Sinus Center understands how draining it can be when you try treatment after treatment without any relief. That's why they've been serving and treating the community for over 50 years. Indianapolis Sinus Center has performed thousands of procedures and helped thousands of patients find lasting relief they didn't know was possible. Patients like you. If you've had enough of sinus pain, pressure, and congestion, schedule a visit with Indianapolis Sinus Center today. Call 317-528-9650 and take the first step toward breathing easy. 317-528-9650. That's 317-528-9650 or visit IndianapolisSinusCenter.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 23rd, 5 minutes after 10. That's Rob Kendall. My name is Casey Daniels. You sent me this last night from the Evansville Courier and Press, and boy, the tangled web of Gabe Whitley just continues. Let me just read this headline for you, and it's in quotes. Honest Gabe, ally being sued for defamation. But does he even exist?
Okay, so the Evansville Courier and Press, and kudos to these guys. They have, over the past couple of years, really dug in and exposed to society what a complete scumbag and total liar and fraud Gabe Whitley is. They've done a tremendous job, and there's so many layers to what a dirtball Gabe Whitley is. Now, just a reminder, Gabe Whitley is this failed candidate for Congress. He got dead last running in Marion County, lost to the deceased woman, and as a part of that, along the way, it became exposed that he was lying about campaign donors, about who the people were, about the amounts they were sending him, and it resulted in complaints with the Federal Election Commission, who's looking into him, as well as the Indiana Election Division. The FBI raided his home last month. It was believed that's what this is related to. Don't know for sure. The FBI doesn't tell you what they're doing. And he has now since had a warrant for his arrest. He turned himself in related to online threats he made against Abdul and is facing a charges related to that. So that's who Gabe Whitley is. A big part of what Gabe Whitley's life is lying about almost everything. And why this should be relevant to everyone hearing our voice is this guy almost became a nominee for Congress. If it were not for us, for our show, for Abdul, he would have been the Republican nominee for Congress in the 7th Congressional District. Now, he got exposed. We told our audience about it. They voted for the deceased woman, and it was stopped. But the state Republican Party, who knew what this guy was, and the Marion County GOP, who knew what this guy was, did absolutely nothing about it.
Yeah.
So the question you have to ask yourself is, we caught this guy by accident because we were suing him, and we'll get to that in just a second. And this all came out as a part of that. How many of these people are out there doing maybe not this exact same thing, but all sorts of crap that are in politics, that are some of them are even getting elected, like George Santos, and you never even know about it?
Right. Well, and the GOP hasn't even said anything about it either.
Never. They've never issued a statement. The
They've
Marion
not
County
denounced him in any way.
He's a precinct committeeman in the Republican Party right now in Marion County.
I noticed his mugshot was released yesterday.
Gabe did turn himself in related to his threats with Abdul, and there is a mugshot that has now been produced, and hopefully he'll have a federal mugshot to accompany his local one
quite the
here
collection.
very soon. But one of the things that Gabe did is Gabe invented what I call the Mr. Snuffleupagus man, which is a guy by the name of Spencer McDaniel. So I know many of our listeners have heard this, but let's go back in the time machine. I sued Gabe with Abdul as my counsel for calling me a pedophile on the Kendall and Casey show Facebook page.
Yeah.
We sued Gabe, a group called Young Conservatives of Southern Indiana, and then a guy by the name of Spencer McDaniel, because Gabe and Spencer McDaniel, I'm doing air quotes for people who can see on the YouTube, were the two people who allegedly ran Young Conservatives of Southern Indiana. What became clear as a part of that lawsuit is we could not find Spencer McDaniel. He does not exist in the state of Indiana. Gabe had given us information that he lived in Texas. The address that Gabe gave us, we could not get service to. And so then we started digging in going, this guy does not exist. We can't find him. This is ridiculous. And as we started digging into it, we realized he doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's a fabrication. Now, he called himself an Indiana political consultant and somebody who also ran the social media and websites.
Yeah, so Evansville Courier and Press did a deep dive on Spencer McDaniel. They came to the same conclusion. Now, they're just giving you the facts, right? They're not giving their opinion. It's a very well-written piece. They came to the same conclusion we did, which is you can't find this guy. He doesn't exist.
It's not a real person.
And so, but it's not just that Gabe is so twisted and demented that he makes up imaginary people, that he has imaginary friends. It's Gabe uses anonymity and imaginary friends and made-up accounts and anonymous accounts to be a really vicious, disgusting human being. And as a part of creating the Mr. Snuffleupagus man, and this is the depravity of Gabe's mind, he invented a whole story about Spencer. He made up a wife. He made up stories about cancer. He made up stories about family members having cancer. And the crazy thing about this is,
he invented that he had surgery. And then that he was cancer-free,
it's sick. It's disgusting, the level Gabe went to with this. But the crazy thing about this is, there are high-profile people in the state of Indiana, elected people, who are friends with Spencer McDaniel on Facebook.
It's not a person.
No, they're friends with Gabe's imaginary friend. And obviously, Gabe was approached about this for this story. If indeed somebody who had professed to be your best friend were accused of being fake, you would say, no, of course not. Here's where you can find him. Here's his address. Here's his phone number. I'll text him right now, whatever. When Gabe was asked about Spencer McDaniel, his quote to the Evansville Courier and Press was, all I can say is for Rob and Abdul is prove it. Spencer doesn't exist. The donors don't exist. He made all of this up. Gabe is a vicious, vindictive, nasty, evil person.
And he will not stop until he is incarcerated, because that is his nature. And this is what he did with the Spencer McDaniel guy, where he was getting sympathy from people.
Right.
Oh, I'm so glad you're cancer-free. Oh, I'm praying for you.
He said that his mother had cancer, and then weeks later he said that the Spencer guy had colon cancer, stage 3. He was having surgery. And then a few weeks later, good news, cancer-free. I mean, that's really playing on people's emotions. Many people were interacting with that Facebook post. Congratulations, we're so happy for you.
So,
not a real person.
And the Spencer McDaniel was important to Gabe because he was Gabe's deflection in our civil suit against Gabe for writing that post calling me a pedophile. The Spencer character came out and said, oh, I did it. Gabe didn't have anything to do with it. Well, Gabe knows if someone else is taking the blame and you can't find that person, it makes it very hard to hold anyone accountable. Gabe is a gutless coward. He is a fraud. He is a disgustingly pathetic human being, and I hope very soon he is incarcerated where he can't harm anyone else. And this is so gross, and not because it had anything to do with us. It's so gross because who knows who else he's harmed? Who knows what else he's done to other people? Hopefully this federal investigation will reveal some of it. But my goodness, this guy was almost a nominee for United States Congress. The Republican Party has done absolutely nothing to stop him. They've said not one single solitary word about it, which to me then means they're okay with it because they've never called on this guy to resign as a precinct committeeman. They know what he is. It just blows.
Yeah, when is that going to happen? When are they going to have him officially step down from that position? The level of just gaslighting and manipulation that happened. He was taking photos of actual other real people and claiming that it was Spencer McDaniel and his wife.
He invented a wife. He made up a story about her. And here's the thing. This is we're still suing Spencer McDaniel, Young Conservatives of Southern Indiana. Obviously, we can't find Spencer McDaniel because he is a figment of Gabe's imagination.
You can keep looking all you want.
I mean, but
he's not real.
But I mean, it's like, what do you do at this point? Gabe. Hopefully he will get justice served to him, and hopefully he will be incarcerated for a very long time because Gabe is the sort of, he's not sorry about it. He's never owned up to it. He's never apologized for any of the stuff he's done. And by the way, the stuff he's done to Abdul is way worse than what he did to me. I mean, way worse the things he said about Abdul. And, you know, people, like, whatever you want to say about us, we put our names to things, right? Like, what we say, we do it under our accounts. We do it under our radio shows. We own who we are and what we say. Gabe did this in the worst way possible, which is under anonymous accounts. And by the way, for a guy who was so tough behind his keyboard, he didn't look all that happy in his mugshot, did he?
No, he did not.
So, Gabe, I hope you rot in prison. I hope you get justice that comes to you, and I hope you're held accountable for all the awful, rotten, terrible crap you've done.
Well, and for the GOP, have this guy step down from his position.
Yeah.
Hey,
Joe Elsner, where are you?
Yeah.
Hey, Randy Head, where are you? Why is this okay?
Yeah. It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. One quick poll that I wanted to share with you. More than 28% of Americans are searching for new jobs. This is the
How much?
28%.
Is that you? You one of them?
Searching for a new job? Yeah. I love the one I have, Rob Kendall.
Oh, bull.
It is my great joy to wake up every morning and come into the studio and hang out with you for 3 hours. You looking?
No, I'm needed here.
Okay. Well, it is the highest rate in a decade. People are afraid they're going to lose their current job. So even if they are currently employed, they're still looking for a new gig.
Right.
Does that tell you about the economy?
Well, I think you're right. Like, it's it's the lack of job security or job stability appears to be pretty strong, or perceived job security or job stability. And I'm no job-seeking expert. You know, I don't know if I've ever applied for a job on my own in my entire life.
What?
Like, every job I've ever had, if there was an interview process, I was asked to do it.
You were asked to apply for it?
I'm thinking, like, okay, I was self-employed for years, so obviously nothing with that. The state, I was asked to come in. I mean, I guess technically I applied, but I was asked to apply.
The lottery, I was asked to apply. Back to the state, I was asked to apply again. Here, I was asked to apply. I don't think I've ever actually applied for it.
Do you even have a current resume?
Oh, no.
No?
No.
I know at one point you sat in our office and updated your LinkedIn page.
I did.
When Radio 1 bought the radio
If I were
station.
to look at my actual resume now, right now, it probably still says host Central Indiana Today, WYRZ.
You should always have that updated just in case, because you never know.
No.
You never know what could happen.
Here's
Rob.
why. Here's why, Casey.
What's that?
If they fire me, they have to pay me.
Yeah.
And you bet, you darn better well
You're
bet.
going to take a couple weeks off.
I'm gonna make every single dime out of that.
I gotcha. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Kamala Harris is there right now. She's the de facto president because, let's be honest, President Applesauce Brains isn't calling the shots. It's her and the Obamas. And they're talking about how we need to have hope in this country. Donald Trump has not been the president for nearly 4 years now. And 12 of the last 16 years has been Democrat leadership. So why do we need hope? This is your doing. It's ridiculous.
Hammer and Nigel. Weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Hey guys, it's Rob for my friends at Life Church. It's Friday. Sunday's going to be here before you know it. And this Sunday, maybe you're being called to something different. Could be a new church home or even a first church home. Life Church would be the perfect place for you to check out. They're warm. They're welcoming. Over the years, many WIBC listeners have found a home at Life Church. And I think it's because, well, Life Church, a lot like WIBC, tells you not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. Check it out for yourself. You got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Life Church's campuses all across central Indiana. Noblesville, Fishers, Eagle Creek, and Pendleton. Awesome online services. Learn more about everything at lifechurchin.com.
The deals and specials are sizzling hot. It's the Central Indiana Gun and Knife Show this Saturday and Sunday at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory on West Minnesota Street. The best dealers in the region, hundreds of tables, just $6 for adults, kids 12 and under free. Must be 18 or accompanied by an adult. Buy, sell, trade. This Saturday, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Stoutfield National Guard Armory. For more info, visit centralindianagunshows.com.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks Vapor Stick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick. And it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks Vapo Stick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors.
Use as directed. Vapo Stick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
To celebrate, be employee owned, Bee's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months, no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me.
Big year for college football, especially here in Indiana. Notre Dame ranked number 7 in the AP ranking. You've also got Purdue and IU saying that they're going to outperform expectations this year, so look out. But new data revealing that StubHub football tickets have increased 42% overall compared to last year.
Well,
people are already getting their tickets for their games.
You know, we talked about this the other day, that college football has elevated itself now to where second only probably to the National Football League in terms of popularity in this country. It's far eclipsed Major League Baseball. It's far eclipsed the NBA, college basketball, obviously. And so in this country, football is king, and college football way ahead in terms of in-person experience to the National Football League. But it doesn't have the TV deal or the TV revenue like the NFL does. But boy, what a financial juggernaut. And I mean, you think about, what does Michigan Stadium hold?
106, 110?
I mean, you think about the amount of people who are going to college football games on a Saturday afternoon. It is football is king, and I'm not surprised by that. There's huge demand for it. It does give me an opportunity, Casey, to remind our public at large that we do have a brand new, Hammer and I have a new sports betting show. It's called The Degenerates Next Door.
Yep.
Our debut episode came out on Tuesday. You can find it wherever you get your podcast. Just put The Degenerates Next Door into your search bar there, and you'll see it. You can also find it at WIBC.com under the shows tab, or you can just head to @RobMKendall on Twitter. I've got it pinned to the top, the link. and you can hear our debut show where we preview the week 0 games for college football, which start tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And who doesn't want to bet on Delaware State at Hawaii, Casey? Who doesn't want to have a hot take on Delaware State at Hawaii?
Now, if I don't go listen to the whole podcast, you're not going to tell me who to bet on, are you?
Well, I'll give you. How about one? How about I give you one?
Give me one.
Well, one of the things
These are one of the many things that you could learn by listening to this podcast.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, the rule for our podcast when we talk about sports betting is this:
Mm-hmm.
if you take our advice and win, do something nice for yourself. We don't want to thank you. We don't need any notoriety. But if you lose, we don't want to hear any crap because you're an adult. And we're giving you our reasons for what we think might happen.
Yeah.
You can take our advice or not. We're not forcing you to do it. We don't want to hear any crap from you if you don't succeed. So that's the rule. We don't need credit if you win. We don't want crap from you if you lose.
Okay, so it's Delaware State versus
Hawaii.
Okay.
The spread is 39.5.
Is it Hawaii?
It's at Hawaii. Delaware State is getting 39.5 points. Now, I will tell you, by the time we recorded the show, I did not know this because this just happened. Delaware State missed their flight to Hawaii. So they were currently, as of yesterday, in the process of trying to figure out
how to get there.
Well, obviously, it's not Alabama. They don't take a private jet, right? They take a commercial flight.
Yeah.
So they're trying to figure out how to divide up 2 football teams and get there. I will tell you, one that might be fun for our audience. One of the things we delved into is season win totals. You can bet how, the odds makers set a total. You can say, I think the team will get more wins than that. They think they'll get less wins than that. We bet on Heisman hopefuls. We bet on the national champions, or gave advice on those.
You're already selecting Heisman hopefuls?
Well, you got to. It's week 1.
Okay.
You got to. What if you're picking some guy from Hawaii?
Yeah.
You got to get in on it. I will say we picked local team totals. So we did IU, Purdue, and Notre Dame. And do you want me to do IU or Notre Dame? Which one would you
Notre
prefer?
Dame.
Okay. So Notre Dame was 10.5 wins.
I know our listeners would probably prefer IU.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get to both.
So here was my thinking on Notre Dame. Notre Dame was 10.5 wins. By the way, you can hear all the picks. The Degenerates Next Door is the name of the podcast, wherever you get your podcast. Notre Dame's schedule stinks. There's 12 games, 10.5. That means, are they going to win more or less than 10.5 games? Their schedule stinks. However, and you know this, Casey, every year Notre Dame loses some winnable game that no one is even thinking about, right?
Correct.
There's always some game where
some upset.
You even forget it's on, even if you're a fan, because they should totally win it, and then they somehow manage to lose the game. So we're going to give one of those against Notre Dame, which gets them down to 11.
Yeah.
And the week 1 game is at Texas A&M.
Okay.
Texas A&M, not super great, but pretty good. I don't see Notre Dame beating an SEC school, so I took the under. We're going under.
Wow.
Notre Dame, 10.5 wins.
I can't believe you're betting against the team.
Well, here's my theory on betting. I have a strategy that and our longtime listeners will know this. I oftentimes will bet against teams I cheer for.
Right.
That way I can't lose.
Right. That way you come out a winner either way.
If Notre Dame wins 11 games, that means they're going to automatically be in that college football playoff. I'm all for losing my money. I'll get the joy out of it. But it will soften the blow of Notre Dame having a bad season, because I will have won money.
Okay, so Notre Dame is at number 9 on StubHub's list of the most in-demand college football teams. And here in Indiana, they say that their most popular resale tickets include Indiana, Purdue, Notre Dame, and Michigan, which you had mentioned earlier. But the shocking part about this to me is that the state of Indiana, the highest average ticket price was $97. And it was for the Boilermakers.
Who are at over under 4.5 wins. You can get IU at over under 5.5 wins, and you can hear all of it on the Degenerates Next Door podcast at Rob M. Kendall, pinned to the top, or wherever you get your podcasts at. Casey, some people want to be very mean to me in the voicemails this week. Today?
Yeah, there's a little bit of mix.
Stop, Kurt, darling. You got to read like 1 minute of newscast. I got to sit here and talk for 3 hours.
Hey, I flubbed too.
Kurt,
is he rolling his eyes
He's
at you?
just in there going, he made a mistake.
I was just laughing. It is funny. I'm sure people laugh when I flub too, so yeah.
We love you, Kurt.
Yeah, so you've got some good voicemails, some bad voicemails, and we have enough. We might do a couple segments today,
boy, how
okay?
exciting, yes.
All right, it's Kendall and Casey, and your voicemails are coming up next on 93 WIBC.
3 reasons I ditched my old school deodorant and made the switch to Lumi Whole Body Deodorant for pits, privates, and beyond. First, Lumi is crazy effective. It controls odor in a new way and keeps me fresher longer. Second, it's a whole body deodorant that works on every nook and cranny. You know, the ones we all have. My pits, underboob, thigh folds, behind, and even feet. Use it anywhere. Third, Lumi was created by an OBGYN. I don't know about you, but knowing Lumi was formulated by an OBGYN who knows all about safety below the belt is super reassuring. Experience a new way to control odor longer that works everywhere. There's a special offer for listeners. Go to LumiDeodorant.com and use code SUPER and get 15% off your first purchase with code SUPER. Like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code SUPER for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code SUPER to save 15% today.
According to a 2023 Gallup poll, 71% of non-retired adults are worried about retirement saving. At Howard Bailey Financial, we don't believe retiring with confidence should be guesswork. In fact, our mission is to help you gain clarity and purpose and elevate meaning in your life through personal and practical financial strategies. That's why we provide our Retire with Purpose toolkit at no cost. In it, you'll find valuable information on minimizing taxes, maximizing Social Security, and building a retirement income you won't outlive. To receive your complimentary toolkit, text CLARITY to 866-482-9559. Take a step toward a more confident retirement with Howard Bailey Financial and text CLARITY to 866-482-9559.
This endorsement was not provided by a client of Howard Bailey. This individual was compensated for this endorsement. For more information, visit howardbailey.com/TS1.
Life insurance is one of those things that just about everybody needs, but few people actually have. Hey, if you die unexpectedly without life insurance, guess what? You'll leave your family with even a bigger mess. Life insurance will help replace your family's income. It'll help cover burial expenses. Life insurance can even help pay off debt like credit cards and medical bills. Life insurance can even pay for college. And if you own a business and you die, life insurance can help your business from collapsing. It can even help cover estate taxes. Life insurance has never been more affordable and needed. Plus, you can always shop around even if you have a plan and save some money. So call the Life Insurance Quote Line right now for free pricing information.
800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. 800-917-8730. That's 800-917-8730.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
She says he's unserious. Radar is clear. 70 degrees and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. Here's what's trending at 10:30. Vice President Kamala Harris is arguing her case against a second term for former President Trump.
The consequences of putting Donald Trump back in the White House are extremely serious.
While accepting her party's nomination for president last night, she ended her speech by urging everyone to vote. Harris did not get into much policy during her speech. Former President Trump will be joined by a yet-to-be-announced special guest at his rally in Arizona today. There have been rumors that it is independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy, who is considering, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who is considering dropping out of the race and endorsing Trump. More than $500 million is up for grabs in tonight's Mega Millions drawing. Nobody matched all 6 numbers in Tuesday's drawing of the nationwide lottery, so the grand prize rolls over to an estimated $527 million. I'm Kurt Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Research shows smoking costs Indiana businesses $3.1 billion every year. It also shows that an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes would drastically reduce smoking, which could save lives, create jobs, and infuse the state of Indiana with hundreds of millions of dollars annually. Read the reports from the Richard M. Fairbanks Foundation at thepriceofsmoking.org and see for yourself how an extra $2 per pack tax on cigarettes can have a positive impact on Hoosiers.
Here's great news, Indy. Rhino Shield has partnered with Green Sky Financing to offer no payments until 2026 for qualified buyers. Call Rhino Shield at 888-RHINO-41.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC. It's time to hear from you. Kendall and Casey present Voicemails. Brought to you by QC Kinetics for non-surgical regenerative medicine treatment at 317-559-PAIN.
Here we go at 317-684-8444. What are you laughing at?
I don't know if I can say it. Somebody put something funny in the
YouTube. If you'd like to watch on YouTube, by the way, just type in Kendall and Casey into the YouTube search bar.
It's good stuff.
Not appropriate.
Internet
only.
Yeah.
Internet only. Okay. Well, for this round of voicemails, it's going to be a brawn-a-thon.
Oh, how exciting.
Because
People are still talking about that?
Yeah, he was just on the show.
Well, that's true, right? He was here yesterday.
We have to hear what they have to say. And this first one, here it is. The guy who's calling you disingenuous and a flip-flopper, and he wants you to apologize.
It's a message for Rob Kendall. It's a bit disingenuous when a couple months ago you were thumping your chest and saying you shouldn't vote for people that you disagreed with just a couple months ago when Mike Braun spent us out of house and home, and now you're saying we need to vote for him. Well, you did the same thing. You thumped your chest and said we ought to be voting our conscience rather than strategy when it came to other people in this race. I agree we should vote for Mike Braun, but I think you owe an apology to those people that you railed on when they said that we ought to vote for certain senators that needed our vote. And you said, no, vote your conscience. You have to vote your conscience. You thumped your chest and said, you have to vote your conscience. You did flip-flop. You do owe them apology. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying you were wrong before or you're wrong now, one of the two. But you owe somebody an apology because you just flip-flopped.
Okay, just apologize to me.
Casey, I'm sorry for anything I've ever done. Okay, a couple things. I don't know if I've ever thumped my chest.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, maybe at some point.
Tarzan.
Two, I don't know if I've ever actually used the phrase vote your conscience.
Mhm.
I think Ted Cruz used that at the Republican convention.
You've
in
said people have to
2006.
earn your vote.
Right, exactly.
Mhm.
Mike Braun and Todd Young are not even on the same planet. I'm telling people to vote for Todd Young. Had no policy proposals in 2022 whatsoever, any different other than how he had actually governed. He straight up said, I'm never going to stop spending money.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I've been very critical of Mike Braun's 2017 votes in the Indiana General Assembly. Not going to take it back. Not going to change it. When he sat right here, we told him the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him privately, and I told him publicly, 2 years from now, I'm coming for you on that gas tax. And hopefully, maybe by then, we'll be on the same team on that.
He's been warned.
I'm voting for Mike Braun and endorsing Mike Braun because he is the only candidate with a viable chance to actually fix property taxes in the state of Indiana. Period. He has an actual plan. It's not like Mike. If we were to compare this to Todd Young, it would be if Braun came out and said, I'm not sorry you're paying high property taxes, and I'm never going to do anything to help you not pay high property taxes. If Braun had said that, that's a different conversation. He said, it took me a while to get there, but I've listened to you. I've listened to your audience. You're right. This needs fixed. I got the message with the I think, he's saying it without saying it, with Micah's victory, that people in this state are sick of the crap, and we got to deliver on this. Braun has no choice but to deliver on property taxes now. even if he didn't want to, which I think he does, because if he didn't, he would look like such an idiot. He would, I guarantee you, be a one-term governor. He would get primaried and lose after going all in if he didn't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
This is about fixing property taxes. I'm not misleading or lying to anyone. I think we've said quite openly, there's going to be a whole bunch of things Mike Braun and I are not going to agree on. If I were to pick the person who, on every single issue, I line up with the most, it probably isn't Mike Braun. But the reality is he is a business guy. He knows how to get things done. He's got wind at his sails, or he's got the wind at his back. He's got Micah in there working with him, and he's committed. The General Assembly is not going to work with Donald Rain. Let's just live in a delusion land where Donald Rainwater could win. By the way, for all you people who are mad at me about the endorsement,
spend that time helping him win then.
If you had spent as much time over the past 3 days putting signs out or knocking on doors for Rainwater as you have bitching at me.
Redirecting that energy.
Look, it's done. I've made my choice. It's very well thought out. It was very sincere. It took a long time to come to my conclusion. But what has Don Rainwater and the Libertarians done the past 4 years? Have they raised money? No. Is their infrastructure any noticeably different than it was 4 years ago? No. Is the National Party is a complete train wreck? There's zero help from the National Party. It's almost non-existent now. They're not even filling out the ballot. They're not even running a candidate for Attorney General. Spare me this nonsense that I'm, costing him the election or whatever else. I like Don. He's a good guy. But there is zero chance that he's going to come anywhere close to doing what he did in 2020 because he doesn't have the Holcomb boogeyman there.
Right.
And they haven't done the things collectively necessary. I'm not saying it's his fault, but if you can't do it as a third party, you're not going to win. But let's just live in a delusion land where he did win. You think the General Assembly is going to work with, what is he going to do, wave a magic wand? There is no chance. There's no chance that his proposal would ever see the light of day.
More likely, they would not do it out of spite.
Which means you're going to put Houston and Bray in charge of property taxes, which means you're going to get what you got right now.
Right, which means absolutely nothing will get done. So Braun said that he's committed to seeing this plan to cut property taxes come to fruition. And you had mentioned something earlier that when all of this comes to the legislators, we're going to see a bunch of local government people come to the State House like the red-shirted teachers. I'm curious, though. One thing comes to my mind. Do you think that they'll be organized enough to do that?
Oh, yeah.
Or will it be pockets of individuals?
No, I think it'll be there's these local government groups, and then there'll be the fringe groups like the lunatic teacher people. But I talked to somebody yesterday who's in the know. Who is a person who will have influence, and they said they believe there's good momentum growing inside the State House to support Braun and his plan, at least the core tenets of it. Look, the non-negotiable in the Braun plan is the reset of the tax bills. Everything else, you can get creative with. The whole goal on all of this, and this is where I love this period. You sold out. You this. You that. Sold out what? Have you seen our ratings? We don't need politicians. I'm not getting any money out of this. I'm not getting a job out of you.
Somebody said it's so we can have access to him.
I picked Braun because he is the only person who can actually get this done. If you're being remotely honest with yourselves, you will recognize that is the logical conclusion. And then once we get the property taxes fixed, which, by the way, Mike Braun will also deliver on universal school choice in Indiana, which is very important, then we'll live to fight another day. There's going to be a whole bunch of things next year that I'm going to disagree with him on. But if we can put $500 or $1,000 annually back in your pocket, why would you say anything about that other than thanks? It just amazes me that people are so mad at me, and your guy's whole campaign hinged on a radio guy's endorsement? Get out of here.
So overall, Braun said that his reforms are going to result in a 21% tax cut for Hoosiers. All right, we did get another phone call about Mike Braun.
Hi, Rob and Casey. This is Indiana Joe down here on the surface of the sun in South Texas. I'm getting ready to head to Houston, which is a 2-hour drive, because I'm flying to your beautiful city to visit some family there. I wish Caitlin Clark was playing because I'd love to go see her, but I guess I'll have to go watch Purdue play Indiana State Saturday up in Lafayette. I know you spent the last day and a half with much ado about nothing, and what I mean by that is everybody knows Indiana is a two-party system, the Republican Party and the Tupperware Party. So, yeah, Braun's going to win. Is he going to change anything? Maybe, maybe not. Doesn't really matter. It's always going to be status quo. And he tipped his hand when he told you, well, I don't really drink beer. I prefer a mixed drink. Well, probably served at his country club by somebody in a tux and tails suit. But I just hope Micah doesn't turn into that. Y'all have a nice day. Hopefully I survive your city. I can't take my handgun with me. Have fun. Bye.
It's true. He's not Victoria Sparks, is he? You can't take that with him on a plane.
Yeah, I mean, it's just my favorite thing is people get enraged and they go, "It doesn't matter anyway." Okay, well, then why are you so?
It doesn't matter then. Okay,
and the reality is this: nobody did more for the libertarians the last 4 years than me, and here's why I did it: because I believe in competition, I believe in freedom of thought, I believe in voices being heard. I have put so many crap candidates on this program, time and time and time again, who generally get us nothing other than the radios being turned off, and I get crap from my bosses about it because I believe in voices being heard. No, libertarians have never had a platform like this show. They've never had support like they've had with me.
Well, and they squandered it.
They did. They've done nothing. They did.
They had some growth going in 2020, but it fizzled out.
And so after 4 years, I've said I'm tired of just simply being insurgent opposition. I've been given an opportunity to create meaningful change. Braun came to us. He wants to unite the party, at least around this issue. What am I going to do? Go, no, I'm not interested in solving the issue that I'm most passionate about. You get out of here. That's asinine, Casey.
He came to us and said, hey, I want to work. You're right. This is an issue. I've heard you. Let's get something done.
And for the people who are like, oh, he's not going to, he has to follow through on it. He has to follow through on it, or he will be a one-term governor. And I'm not talking about like a Democrat beating him in a general, he will get primaried and he will lose. He is all in on this. He has to deliver. Let's help him do it.
Okay, another phone call. This one is about how to pronounce Kamala Harris's name.
Hey, guys, love the show. And I know there's some debate going on how you pronounce the vice president's first name. Is it Kamala? Is it Kamala? It's neither. It's Communist Harris. Have a great day, guys. Love the show.
That's funny.
Yeah. And on that joke, we're going to take a break. We do have some more voicemails coming up on 93 WIBC.
Coming up on the Hammer and Nigel show, Guy Relford filling in for Hammer. We'll do an Ask the Gun Guys segment. Also, it's Beer Sample Friday. All the fun starts at 3 o'clock, 93 WIBC.
Fox, CNN, other news sources are reporting home prices are expected to decline into 2025, even after the election. Maximize your home sales price now before this downturn with the agent proven to sell for top dollar, Mark Dietel. Maybe you want maximum equity from your home, but not sure how. Mark Dietel guarantees your home sold at a mutually agreed upon price and deadline, or he will buy it. Listen to what Mitch from Martinsville had to say about working with Mark Dietel. My home was getting too big for me, so I was looking to downsize. After hearing about Mark Dietel on the radio, I decided he was the right choice. Mark was fantastic. He was able to get multiple offers within 48 hours and closed in 30 days. Call the local Indianapolis agent I trust and recommend and the agent who guarantees your home sold or he'll buy it. Call Mark Dietel at 317-755-4232 for all the details, or go online to markdietel.com. That's Mark, DIETEL.com, markdietel.com. Tell him Rob sent you.
It's common knowledge that after age 30, our metabolism changes. We have less energy and gain weight easier. There's a way to feel better, not in years or months, but sometimes in just days.
I'm Chuck Norris. I tried everything. Working with a team of health experts, we came up with Morning Kick. Morning Kick is a revolutionary new formula that combines all my favorite supplements into one daily drink.
Morning Kick has probiotics to help you lose weight, prebiotics for digestion, superfoods for muscles and joints, and powerful anti-aging supplements. It'll help you feel youthful, energized, and helps manage stress.
I look and feel better than I have in years.
Go to roundhouseprovisions.com, use code HEALTH, or text HEALTH to 511-511 and claim 40% off. Roundhouseprovisions.com, code HEALTH.
Every purchase comes with our 90-day money-back guarantee. You could be feeling these changes within just a couple of days.
Text HEALTH to 511-511.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Tax fees may apply.
Garage door problems? Call today for service today. Garage Doors of Indianapolis services all makes of garage doors 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Call today for service today. 875-4577. Call today for service today. Get it fixed right now. Call Garage Doors of Indianapolis at 875-4577 or visit doorstoday.com.
In the morning, call 875-4577.
Service today?
Today.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my side softer?
Can I make my side firmer whenever I want?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. 94% of Sleep Number smart sleepers report better sleep. J.D. Power ranks Sleep Number #1 in customer satisfaction with mattresses purchased in-store. And now, during our biggest sale of the year, save 50% on the Sleep Number Limited Edition smart bed. Limited time. For J.D. Power 2023 award information, visit jdpower.com/awards. To find a store near you, visit sleepnumber.com.
Advent is now open in Indianapolis and Avon. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Breathe well with simple solutions. AdventKnows.com.
Addiction. It's hard on those who struggle with it, but those who love the addict need support too. Matt Baer and Ryan Hedrick provide help and hope with Supporting Sobriety. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and on WIBC.com.
All right, here we go with round 2 of your voicemails. Hammer has the day off today, and the gun guy will be joining Nigel this afternoon on the Hammer and Nigel program. The phone number, 317-684-8444, if you'd like to contribute to the discussion today about anything that we've been talking about. All right, this next phone call is about Robert Kennedy Jr. Now, he did file paperwork late yesterday to take himself off the ballot in Arizona. He has that press conference today at 2. Donald Trump said that he will be joined by a special guest. Many people believe that RFK is going to endorse Donald Trump. Donald Trump, of course, would be very happy about this. And then Nicole Shanahan, Kennedy's running mate, said that the Democrats are terrified their campaign may join forces with Trump. My question for you before we get to the voicemail, Rob, can the Kennedy campaign transfer their money to the Trump campaign?
Yes. Please consult your legal counsel / campaign finance authority, but yes,
Right.
there's a variety of things you can do with money. What you cannot do, I believe, is mingle state and federal money. So, like, if you were a state candidate, you can't put it to a federal campaign. There's rules with that, but you can. There's generally 3 things you can do with it. You can give it to another campaign. You can give it to a political action committee,
right?
Or you can give it to charity.
Okay.
Or you can return it to the people who gave it to you.
Okay. All right. Well, here is the phone call regarding Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Hey, I was thinking I had a bizarre thought because we're living in bizarre world. Depending on what Robert Kennedy comes out and says today, I'm hoping that he trashes the Democratic Party, but do you think Obama is smart enough to have met behind closed doors with Robert Kennedy, since he knew he was not going to become the president? But Obama, even if he loses his third term, and yes, I said it, at least if Trump hires him as, say, the leader of the FBI, or God forbid he gets in the cabinet somehow in some position of authority, that Obama has a fox in the henhouse. And with everything else that's going on in the world and the country and our government, I mean, I would not put it past it. That was already in the talks. I don't know, food for thought. Thanks, see you.
So he's talking about a plant within a Trump administration.
No. I don't think he's going to put Robert F. Kennedy Jr. in any sort of cabinet position. I don't think any of that's going to happen. And even if he did, everyone Trump hires talks anyway. So what difference does it make?
Yeah. So Nicole Shanahan said that it's all Bobby's decision. She calls him Bobby. And that there's only been one party that's obstructed a fair election for them. And she said that, of course, was the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another phone call about Mike Braun and Rob. They're calling you a sellout.
So I'm just sitting here relaxing. Went to the gym early this morning. Did a 10-hour shift. I weld for a living in a poorly air-conditioned building. Came home, spent some time with my wife and kids. Now she's reading a book, and I don't work tomorrow, so I'm gonna play some Call of Duty with some guys from work. You know, typical beta male stuff, as Rob would say. Just kidding, Rob. I actually found that comment funny. Ignorant, but funny. In all seriousness, though, Rob, I don't think you sold out, as people were saying you did, for endorsing Mike Braun. I will say that he better do what he says he's going to do, especially with property taxes. Otherwise, he's going to be a one-term governor. And I don't care if it's a Democrat that beats him next time. He's going to be a one-term governor. So he better do what he says he's going to do.
Well, he's saying pretty much what you just said.
Right. I mean, nobody can refute what I've told you about the logistics of what's taking place here, which is there is no path unless Braun does something horrendous in a debate or whatever, that Mike Braun is not the next governor. Like, just do the math. Let's say McCormick is able to reset the traditional Democrat base, right? And get it to 42 or 43% or whatever that might be. I think Woody Myers got 35, but a bunch of Democrats voted for Holcomb. Okay. Do you believe Rainwater is, without the COVID boogeyman and without Holcomb, despite raising no money, going to do better than he did last time when he had COVID and Holcomb and got whatever it was like a six-figure donation from one individual? This is just totally illogical. And Braun is much more liked by Republicans than Holcomb. So a bunch of Republicans, even if Rainwater had all that money, would vote for Holcomb anyway. Don Rainwater has no plan for a statewide campaign. If you look at his campaign in 2020, most of where he cleaned up was in our listening area.
Central Indiana, yeah.
So there's no path unless Braun does something heinous or he's not the governor. It's about what sort of governor do you want him to be. If he walks in there at 49 or 48, then you're going to give him no firepower whatsoever. Like, the game has been decided. He's going to win. And by the way, Micah's victory already took a whole bunch of people who were going to vote for Rainwater, and they're coming back to the Republican Party. I talk to them all the time. Part of my decision-making process was talking to Rainwater voters and where they're at and what they're doing. Trust me, if I thought there was some viable path, why do I always say I would need $3 million up front, cash on hand to run for governor?
Right.
Because I'm a realist.
That's what it takes. Minimally.
There's no viable path for anything other than Braun to be the governor. I want the property taxes fixed. If he doesn't have a mandate, if he doesn't roll in there with 55, 56, 57, he's not going to have it, and you're still going to get the same guy being governor, and you're getting nothing. It's a pragmatic decision. That's it, period.
All right, we're going to talk about Donald Trump and what he's been saying coming up on 93 WIBC.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential.
But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
I'm a grandson, a son, I'm an employee and a mentor. I'm a father to 2 beautiful kids and a husband to an amazing wife. And I have a substance use disorder. In other words, I'm living in recovery with an addiction. And now that you know, will you let it change how you see me? It's okay to see my addiction, but I want you to know it's people choosing to see me as a person that changed my life.
See the person, not just their disease. Learn more at cbeyondtheaddiction.org.
Pat Sullivan here for Hope Plumbing. Summer months bring high temperatures and a whole lot of moisture that needs to stay out of your home. A sump pump is vital to protecting your home from heavy rains and rising waters that do nothing but leave behind damage. During the month of August, my friends at Hope Plumbing will buy back your old sump pump for $300 with the purchase of an upgraded sump pump and new battery backup system. Stay dry and call Hope Plumbing, hopeplumbing.com.
Life's full of unexpected joys, like problems with water. That's why there's Michaelis, a crew of 24/7 experts who are rescue ready, day or night, one phone call, for a gazillion disasters. Over 3 decades of restoring your home or business to better than new condition. Water, storms, fire, and wet basements. Life happens. Michaelis happens to help you through it. Call 844-FIX-INDY. Make it Michaelis.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
The financial advisor industry is a flawed system. Find out how to fight back and protect your retirement on Expedition Retirement. Sunday mornings at 7 on WIBC.
To celebrate Be Employee Owned, Be's offering employee pricing 60% off plus 18 months no interest, no payment.
Proud to be employee owned. Trust me.
Your one blood donation can help save the lives of up to 3 people. Give blood through the American Red Cross to help hospital patients. Visit redcrossblood.org today.
Coming up in 2 minutes, another shooting involving an Indianapolis police officer, plus a couple of big decisions coming soon from the City County Council, and how warm you can expect it to get in the coming days. I'm Kurt Darling. That and more coming up from the Technology Recyclers Studios after Fox News Radio. You're listening to 93 WIBC, WIBC HD1 Indianapolis. It's 11 o'clock.
The Secret Service takes action. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. More than a month after the Trump assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania.
As of Monday, as of 5 days ago, at least 5 Secret Service agents, 4 from the Pittsburgh field office, including the special agent in charge, all placed on administrative leave, and 1 person from former President Trump's personal protective team inside the bubble, someone that travels with him all the time.
Fox's David Spunt says there could be more put on leave as the Secret Service keeps investigating security lapses at that Trump rally July 13th, where one of his supporters was killed. 2 were wounded by a gunman, shot and killed by a Secret Service sniper moments later. Now, today, former President Trump will hold rallies in Nevada and then Arizona for a second day in a row. He was critical of Vice President Harris's speech last night, telling Fox,
"She can do all of the things, many of the things that she's talking about and complaining about. It was a lot of complaining."
Now, Harris closed out the Democratic convention in Chicago.
America, we are not going back. We are not going back.
Warning of serious consequences if former President Trump's elected again.
Donald Trump tried to throw away your votes. When he failed, he sent an armed mob to the United States Capitol.
There is news on the economy this morning.
The time has come for policy to adjust.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell at a Fed gathering in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, says that means the first rate cut, maybe next month, since 15 rate hikes in 2022 and last year that helped bring a surge of inflation down.
And the timing and pace of rate cuts will depend on incoming data, the evolving outlook, and the balance of risks.
And on Wall Street, the Dow is surging up more than 300 points. America's listening to Fox News.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Shots fired on the east side. Radar is clear, 72 and sunny downtown. I'm Kurt Darling. This report brought to you by Window Nation. Here's what's trending at 11:02. A police officer firing their gun in the last hour. IMPD limited on the details, but they say it happened along Pendleton Pike. No officers were hurt, but they haven't said if anyone else was hurt either. It could be a big pay raise. Ryan Hedrick has the details on a proposal before city-county councilors.
The mayor of Indianapolis would make $125,000 under a new proposal. Right now, the mayor's salary sits at $95,000, and it's been that way since 2002. A finance committee will look into this on Tuesday. Also on the table are raises for city, county employees like the coroner and the treasurer, who would make $92,000 if the increase goes through. The pay raise would take effect in January. Ryan Hedrick, 93 WIBC Mobile News.
Meanwhile, at a special meeting tonight, councilors will consider a proposal to form a committee to investigate these sexual harassment accusations against former Hogsett Chief of Staff Thomas Cook. Shot while lying in bed. That's what happened to a man in Indianapolis. Police were sent to a home on the west side early this morning where a man told the cops that he heard a bang and then felt a sting. That's when he realized he'd been shot.
Just if anybody knows anything about this shooting or possibly has door camera video, please come forward and help our detectives.
IMPD Captain John Arvin. Police are trying to figure out who pulled the trigger. You can expect temperatures to be hot today across the state.
Over the next 7 days, we are expecting dry weather across Indiana.
Meteorologist Jason Puma with the National Weather Service also says that the heat index values will reach the triple digits, so you should be careful if you have to be outdoors. The first drive was really good. That's how the Indianapolis Colts head coach Shane Steichen described it, as the team has started it out against the Cincinnati Bengals, and they finished their final preseason game with a 27-14 win. I'm Kirk Darling, on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
People are talking about Window Nation. Their Window Nation customer, Vicky, says, we couldn't be happier. This was a great experience. She's just one of over 33,000 five-star reviews. That's because Window Nation is all about the value. And this August, they're giving you great value during the Window Nation anniversary sale. Right now, buy 2 windows, get 2 free, plus no interest or payments for 24 months. And if you act now, you'll get an extra $250 credit.
Window Nation values your satisfaction in their quality, service, and affordability. That's why they stand behind their windows with a lifetime warranty. Window Nation was also recently ranked highest on Forbes' list of best window installation companies. So you can trust Window Nation for high-quality, affordable windows. Hurry, this big sale ends August 31st. Schedule that in-home estimate right now at 866-90-NATION or visit windownation.com.
You're listening to Rob Kendall.
When we talk about sending money somewhere, we're talking about printing the money because we have no money.
And Casey Daniels.
My government would never lie to me, would they?
On 93 WIBC.
Good morning. It is Friday, August 23rd, 5 minutes after 11. You're listening to Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC. So last night during the DNC, Donald Trump tweeted out, "Is she still talking about me?" keeping his sense of humor. And then, of course, he called into Fox News. And when that got cut off, he called into Greg Gutfeld and just did some live phone calls on there. He plans to return to Southeast Michigan for another campaign stop. And he's going to be meeting with members of the National Guard there. They often host candidates. They extended an invitation to Vice President Harris. No word on whether she has accepted that invitation or not. But one of the things that is happening, he's been giving out some of his policies, which is in contrast to what Kamala Harris did last night.
He has them.
Well, he has them. One of them is he unveiled a new border crime policy.
Tough new sentences on illegal alien criminals. These include 10-year mandatory minimum sentence for anyone guilty of human smuggling, a guaranteed life sentence for anyone guilty of child trafficking, and a death penalty for anyone guilty of child or woman sex trafficking. We'll also impose the death penalty on major drug dealers and traffickers. In other countries, on their immigration papers, there is a statement that says, death for drug traffickers. Big letters, big bold letters. 10 times the size of everything else on the page. I saw it this morning. And those are the countries where they have no problem with drugs. Many of them, actually. We will also impose the death penalty for anyone killing our police, sheriffs, Border Patrol, ICE, or law enforcement officials. The death penalty with a quicker trial, not a trial that lasts for 15 years and everybody gets exhausted.
Okay, so he's at least putting some policies out there. He said 10-year mandatory minimum sentence for anyone guilty of human smuggling, mandatory life sentence for anyone guilty of child trafficking, death penalty for anyone guilty of sex trafficking, and death penalty on major drug dealers and traffickers.
So it comes back to what are people voting on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at the issues that Trump is pretty strong on, or at least perceived as being pretty strong on, according to the polling, which is inflation, the economy, and the border, and the fact that he's not only winning, but winning overwhelmingly. But then you see polling that shows, hey, it's a toss-up race. So my question is, what is, I mean, I get that the other side, the actual other side, the base, is voting on on-demand abortion and men in the women's restrooms and whatever. But the people in the middle who I guess are leaning Kamala Harris, what are they voting on?
Yeah.
Or do we not believe that the polls are actually that close?
I'm not believing the polls are that close. I think Pennsylvania is not going to be as close as everybody says. Now, that's not taking into consideration the creative jelly bean counting. But from what I saw when I was actually physically in Pennsylvania, you still see much more Trump paraphernalia everywhere than anything for Harris.
Right. You very rarely see, my dad and I were talking about this yesterday, you very rarely see you see the large Trump signs all the time.
Yeah.
You very rarely see, now maybe in California they're everywhere, maybe in New York they're everywhere, but you very rarely see a large Kamala Harris flag or wall poster or whatever.
Well, it's really interesting that Donald Trump was giving that speech on the same day that Kamala Harris came out and she said, I know the importance of safety and security, especially at our border, yet she's done nothing about it as the borders are. So he's also promised the largest deportation project in U.S. history and promising crackdowns and accountability.
You could make a compelling case that the border is a bigger issue than the economy in the sense of a grand scheme type of thing.
One begets the other.
Well, it's just the economies come and economies go. But what you've got is when you've got it's more than that now, 11, 12 million, whatever it is, people have illegally entered the country and are staying here, they're procreating.
Mm-hmm.
And while maybe they won't be allowed to vote, depending on where they live, the children they birth certainly will.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're creating, and that's what the illegal immigration is all about, a generation of largely Democrat voters who will largely be dependent upon government services.
So while he was speaking, there was that manhunt going on from that guy who threatened to kill him. And at one point he was talking with a reporter and said, no, we got to go because there's a live manhunt going. They ended up arresting the guy.
Oh.
But he also said in one of his speeches that he plans to rehire every service member who was fired.
1,000 service members from our military for refusing their COVID vaccine mandate. They refused to do it. We didn't want a mandate. The mandate, you just can't do that. I will rehire every patriot who was fired from the military with an apology and with back pay. They will get their back pay and an apology from our government.
Okay. So here we go with everybody's going to get their back pay. See this? Okay, where's that money coming from?
Right.
They didn't work. Obviously, it's wrong they were fired. No doubt about it. But they didn't work. This always happens. Anytime there's a government shutdown, anytime the government reopens, people get all their money. So they got paid not to work. Now we're going to pay all these people who didn't work. Again, not disputing in any shape, form, or fashion that it was wrong for those people to be fired. But does that, I mean, Trump, this is what I'm saying, like he just makes these promises. And it's like, well, why would I ever believe you're going to get inflation under control then? Every promise involves more government spending. What is the plan? And again, just simply saying we're going to drill is not going to solve inflation. It might help, but it's not going to solve the issue. And so and by the way, why does Trump always get a free pass for his role in the vaccine? His role, the amount of money that was spent, the fast tracking, telling people to get the thing. I mean, that was the buildup and the lead up to these mandates. Now, Biden did the mandates. It wasn't Trump. But if you got some guy pounding his fist going, you need to get this vaccine, it works, it's healthy, it's helpful, that helps feed that narrative. And I've never heard Trump say I was wrong about that didn't work. I was sorry for all the money I spent, or putting that little goon Fauci in charge of everything, or, I do not believe that if another crisis happened, Trump wouldn't do the same thing again.
Yeah. He was doing fine until COVID happened. And then he made quite a few mistakes.
Right. And I don't think the states would go along with it, certainly Republican-led states, like they did the last time. But if somebody can correct me, has Trump ever said, I'm sorry about 2020? I mean, if he has, please point me to that, and I'll correct, I'll correct the record. But if he said, I'm sorry, I mean, Trump did a ton of damage to this country in 2020. Trump did a ton of damage to this country in 2020. I'm going to vote for Trump because there's only two options. There's a Democrat and a Republican, and I can't do any more of Harris. But my goodness, it was just total disconnect from his role in these things that he claims to be so upset about.
Okay, so you asked, what are people voting on? Well, according to this Iowa voter, a lot of it has to do with economy.
I see Kamala and I see Walz as being so far left that it concerns me. I'm comfortable with Trump. We had 4 years of Trump. We know what Trump is. I'm not voting for him to be my Valentine. I'm not voting for him to be my best friend.
So she goes on to say that she was absolutely better off during Trump's presidency than she is today.
Well, I think most people would say that. I think 2019 was a much better time for America than what we're seeing today. And COVID in, COVID out, 4 years on, you should have the economy back into a normal position. Unless, of course, you don't want the economy to be in a normal position. And I think that's the logical. By the way, did you see there's all this controversy now about Tim Walz jerking his kid's arm?
Yeah, when they were on stage after he gave his speech and he accepted the nomination.
Is that fair game? The people are being critical of him on that?
I think it's fair game. They're being critical of him. They're not. It's not fair to be critical. What is his son's name? I don't remember his son's name, but I think he's special needs.
Yeah.
Many people were making fun of him because he was crying and saying, "That's my dad." He was very proud.
Gus.
Yeah,
Gus
that's
Walz.
it. So for people to be making fun of Gus for, being overcome with emotion when his dad is on stage accepting the nomination for vice president, that's not a good look. That's not fair. But with Tim Walz yanking his arm. Now, some people are saying he was just trying to get him out of the way of the teleprompter because he was about to walk into it. Somebody not used to being on stage and not seeing some of the equipment up there, that was a protective move. It just came across as
I saw that.
Not good.
Well, I saw it, and I saw the people responding to it, and I agree. It's not necessarily a great look. But to me, man, there's infinitely I don't think Tim Walz has ever been accused of abusing his son, or it's like, you know, you don't know exactly what was going on. And there's plenty of things. I mean, the guy's a pathological liar. I mean, you know, he obviously, lies about gross stuff like, you know, the IVF thing. I mean, there's plenty of things you can actually be critical of the guy on. I don't know if that's necessarily a road you want to go down because you don't know exactly what was going on up there. And there's no even allegation that he's ever been anything but a good dad to this kid.
Yeah,
so.
but it didn't look good, especially now that it's out there and people are putting it in slow motion
Well, you're right.
and the back and
It's
forth.
internet era.
And it's the same thing with whatever fell out of Nancy Pelosi's pant leg when she went up.
Yeah, what was that?
Well, I mean, it went from it was toilet paper to it was cocaine to it was just notes from her speech. So, you know.
Does she not have a pocket? Were there no pockets on those pants?
It did fall out of her pant leg.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I mean, who stuffs something in your pant leg?
Mm-hmm.
Something you don't want people to see, clearly.
Right?
Yeah.
Either that or her pocket had a hole in it.
You would think if it were notes, that would be in the pocket. Like, hey, I got to, my notes here. You wouldn't I'm stuffing my notes in my pant leg.
But she definitely turned around and looked at it and gave it a cursory, I don't need that, I'm okay look.
Hey, can we talk about that lady not showing up to work last night?
You got a thing going on in Brownsburg, don't you?
yeah.
Well, we can as long as we can talk about the thing I got going on Washington Street.
Perfect.
Okay.
You go first.
It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Hammer and Nigel.
Kamala Harris is there right now. She's the de facto president because, let's be honest, President Applesauce Brains isn't calling the shots. It's her and the Obamas. And they're talking about how we need to have hope in this country. Donald Trump has not been the president for nearly 4 years now. And 12 of the last 16 years has been Democrat leadership. So why do we need hope? This is your doing. It's ridiculous.
Hammer and Nigel. Weekdays 3 till 7 on 93 WIBC and WIBC.com.
Denny Smith here for Sundown Gardens and Miss M's Home and Garden. At both locations this week, get 20% off container trees and shrubs and 30% off balled and burlapped evergreens. Up north at Sundown Gardens only, it's 50% off all balled and burlap shade trees. Mums are in and more are arriving daily. Sundown Gardens at 186th Street and Spring Mill Road in Westfield, sundowngardens.com. Miss M's on State Road 135 in Bargersville, missemshomeandgarden.com.
Did you know you can get your prescriptions for less at your local pharmacy? You can with GoodRx. It's the free app that can save you money on your medications. Just search for your prescription, choose the pharmacy and the price that works best for you, and then show your GoodRx coupon to your pharmacist at the drop-off counter. GoodRx works at over 70,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
Hey, don't take your eyes off the road, just listen. What you hear right now, your customers hear it too. Get your message heard. Text BUSINESS to 71007 now. Get results with Radio 1.
It's not too late to get the backyard of your dreams this year. Expand your living space with an Indie Decorative Concrete patio. Indie Decorative Concrete, the patio experts. Big enough to service, small enough to care.
If you can't get a good night's sleep, let me ask you, are you breathing well? Because if you're snoring or waking up each night with a stuffed up nose, or frustrated with your CPAP mask, the root of your sleep problem lies in your breathing triangle. And if any one of those passages isn't working, you won't sleep well. And there's no mattress, pill, or other gimmick that can fix that. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. A recipe for a good night's sleep starts with an open airway. Now, there are devices that can help solve snoring or sleep apnea problems. If you walk into a sleep center, know you'll walk out with a CPAP. And you might find other options elsewhere, but the simple truth is, if your nose doesn't work properly, no device will help. Only at Advent will you find every effective snoring and sleep apnea solution, along with a world-class team that can get your nose working properly again.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better.
It's affecting my commute to the grocery store. It's affecting your commute into work.
Yeah.
Now, construction on that West Washington Street Bridge over Little Eagle Creek, it's been ongoing for about 5 months now.
Why? What's taking so long?
Oh, Rob, this is a $2.5 million construction project. It was supposed to end in September.
Uh-huh.
Guess what?
What?
Officials now say it could be delayed for another year.
So wait, Washington Street will be closed for another year?
Another year.
What are they doing?
Apparently, the Department of Public Works, they said they found the bridge was structurally unsound. More so than engineers initially believed.
So people have been on that bridge all this time, and what? It was unsound?
It could have, collapsed at any moment. So that little detour is going to be up for a while. A year?
That's ridiculous.
A year.
Well,
You'd think that they could just rebuild that bridge in a month or two.
Government is just the worst, right? I mean, it's, well, remember DeSantis did that after, what was it, a hurricane or something, and he came in there and they got things, the bridge rebuilt right away, and it's who's calling the shots, and it's a want-to thing, and I know there's many fine people who work in government, and probably even for the city of Indianapolis, there's many fine people, but my gosh, this just is just the general lack of motivation, it seems, from the government to do anything on time and under budget is just interesting.
I'm wondering if they're going to put a sign up that says this bridge being sponsored by the Biden Inflation Reduction Act.
Maybe that's their plan. They're holding out to when they can get federal money, and they figure if they just hold out long enough, they'll get somebody else to pay for it.
Well, a year ought to do it. You can get a lot done in a year.
Well, and you're not talking about some obscure side street. You're talking about Washington Street, a main artery into the city of Indianapolis.
Yeah, exactly.
Downtown Indianapolis.
So prepared to be frustrated just a little bit longer.
Louise.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. What's going on with you in Brownsburg? What happened?
I saw this last night, and again, like I said, between now and January of next year, we're going to just all the time point out all this waste in local governments, so that when the angry red-shirted teachers and the outraged city and town council people and the township trustees start showing up in earnest, just beside themselves, that you might be able to save a few dollars on your property taxes. We're going to keep all of these in a little vault of all the waste that's going on and point out how much money just gets thrown away every single day by these local governments, that if they just didn't do stupid crap, they wouldn't, because the argument, of course, is going to be police and fire, and we'll be in one-room schoolhouses, and it's all over for everyone. Bull. There's so much waste in the government. And last night, I went to the town council meeting, as I always do, and for some reason, Brownsburg is becoming a rapidly more liberal hellhole by the day. They elected this totally inept, just totally unqualified Democrat woman to be on the town council because she did the thing where, hey, I'm in the community and I'm, misinvolved, but you're a moron. And she regularly doesn't know what streets are in town at the meeting. She says stupid stuff all the time. Just totally unqualified to be probably even running her own house, much less an entire community. And she's not at the meeting last night. And, these people get paid, no matter what we've been over this before, whether you show up or not. It's like the only job where you get paid even if you don't show up. And it turns out she was at the DNC.
Oh, yeah, she was at the dance party vibing.
Partying it up with she went to the DNC this week. And so going and nominating Kamala Harris and partying with Lil Jon and Rudy and all the rest was apparently, I'll say her name, Cindy Homan. Hi, Cindy. If you'd like to refute any of this, by the way, you can come on anytime and say, no, that's not what happened. We would be more than willing to offer you a space here. But yes, Cindy Homan, Democrat town councilwoman in Brownsburg, who doesn't know what streets are in town and has no idea what she's doing and regularly embarrasses herself in our community at these meetings, decided to skip the town council meeting to go party in Chicago at the DNC. Now, my question is, so I'm doing the math. I don't know exactly what it is. I mean, it's many, many hundreds of dollars that she's paid per meeting, but I'm guessing she's not given that money back to me as a taxpayer. So see, if we didn't pay people who don't show up to meetings, I just found at least one person's property tax rebate for the year, and every one of these guys pretty much up there miss meetings. So, by the end of the year, I might have found a whole street's worth of property. My point on all this is, first of all, it's an embarrassment that you want to be an elected person and you're missing. I mean, you only got to go to 2 meetings a month and you're missing them. You think so little of the people you're elected to serve, which par for the course for a Democrat, right? And I don't know what sort of head injury or amnesia the people in our town were suffering when they elected this buffoon, but You only have 2 meetings a month to go to. If you don't want to go to the 2 meetings, don't sign up for the position. But unless you're sick or a family member is sick or on death's door, Casey, in 4 years, you want to guess how many meetings I missed?
0.
0.
Yeah.
Because that's what you sign up for. You sign up to serve. You shouldn't go on vacation. You shouldn't go party at the DNC. If you don't want to show up to the 2 meetings a month, then don't serve. The other side of this is we shouldn't be paying people who don't want to work. And if we stop paying people who don't want to work, we just found a whole bunch of money to pay for a property tax rebate. And it's laughable, this argument that kids or cops or whoever are going to suffer if we just make local governments be responsible.
I'm wondering if she was thinking that, well, the DNC takes priority over this town council meeting.
It probably does to her. And that's fine if a DNC, if going and hanging out.
She a delegate?
Yes, I think she was.
Okay.
If going and hanging out with your radical maniac friends is more important than the town, that's fine, but don't serve the town. You would be doing all of us a huge service if you would stop serving the town, because you want to talk about someone who has no idea what's going on, 0, and is an utter I'm more ashamed that she's up there than that $4 million empty patch of grass, Casey. I mean, it's just, but anyway, the point of all of this is these hysteria people acting like local governments can't make any cuts. They are ridiculous.
I wonder if she was worried that the votes would not be cast properly without her presence at the DNC.
Well, you know,
it seems like very much like a look at me moment. I'm important.
Right.
I'm needed at the DNC. No, you were needed at the town council meeting.
Am I being unreasonable to say if you don't want to go to all the meetings? Now, again, if you're very ill or you have a family member you have to care for who's very okay, hey, I get that. You still should give your money back. I mean, you only have to go.
How much do you think it was?
I don't know, somewhere between probably. It depends. I don't know exactly how many meetings they're going to have this year. They have added some in the past years that they didn't have. So somewhere between $750 and $900. She makes $18,000 a year.
Okay.
Somewhere between $750 and $900 a meeting, and she makes $18,000 a year. And if you don't go to the meetings, where else, Casey, can you not show up to work
and still get paid?
They're like, here's $800. Thank you for going and partying. Who gets paid other than Instagram influencers to go party with their friends?
That's what she did, right?
What an embarrassment. That lady should be ashamed of herself. She should give everybody in town an apology and give the money back.
It is Kendall and Casey. It's 93 WIBC. Good morning.
If Ernest Hemingway was alive today, would he say this to you?
Shakespeare, Mark Twain, Edgar Allan Poe, all great writers. And after reading your book, I simply must add you to the list.
Wait, you don't have a book yet, so make a free call to Page Publishing. Turn your book idea into publishing gold.
800-215-6818. 800-215-6818. That's 800-215-6818.
This is the story of the one. As a facility technician installing a new welding station, he knows getting the ventilation right is critical for safety. That's why when questions arise, there's Grainger. Grainger offers detailed technical product information online at his fingertips, so it's easy to find what he needs. Because when it comes to safety, having answers means he and his people can breathe a little easier. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Have you lost Indiana Medicaid? At healthcare.gov, you can find a low-cost, quality health plan.
Do plans cover doctor visits?
What about emergency care?
And prescriptions?
All covered and more. Plus, with the new law, 4 out of 5 customers can find a plan for $10 or less per month with financial help. Healthcare.gov is here for you. Enroll today for coverage starting the 1st of next month. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
93 WIBC Mobile News. On the level, on the go.
Another police shooting. I'm Kirk Darling. Here's what's trending at 11:30. A police officer firing their gun late this morning. IMPD is leading the investigation and say that it happened along Pendleton Pike. No officers were hurt, but it's said to be a shooting involving SWAT officers trying to serve a warrant. Kamala Harris is supporting both Israel and Palestinians. She spoke about the war in Gaza at the DNC last night.
President Biden and I are working around the clock, because now is the time to get a hostage deal and a ceasefire deal done.
Harris accepting the Democratic nomination for president. A tropical storm watch in place for Hawaii's Big Island as Tropical Storm Hone gains strength. The storm is about 700 miles off the Hawaiian coast. I'm Kirk Darling on the level, on the go, and on WIBC.com.
You're listening to the Kendall and Casey Show on 93 WIBC.
Oh, it's that time. Guess what the Fed said? He said the time has come for policy to adjust.
Couldn't just let Harry Chapin sing for a few minutes?
Oh, yeah, we can let that happen.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to hear you play. She said, I want to learn a love song.
Okay, sorry. I mean, Katz gets a whole segment of a whole song.
He does on Thursdays. He plays a whole song.
Yeah. I know you just hate to see me happy, so I just wanted to.
Chapin deserves some love.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what happens, though, when we play a long set of music like that? We get flagged on all the social medias.
Well, how does Katz not get flagged?
Well, I
That's
don't
a good
know.
point.
I don't know
or he doesn't.
how he's getting away with
Well,
that.
he's not on the YouTube because he never comes to work.
Right.
That's part of it.
Maybe
right?
he has the rights to every song ever created.
Can you imagine?
Sure.
You know what? We actually did get a voicemail about that. About you were asking yesterday.
Yeah.
About because we were talking about Donald Trump.
Yeah.
Doing the Beyonce song.
Yeah, and I said he's got to be covered if he pays ASCAP BMI CSAC.
Right. And so yesterday you had put it out there. Now, wait a minute. What are the rules on this?
Right.
And somebody called and gave us an answer. Kevin's furiously looking for it right now. Do you want to hear it?
Yes, absolutely.
You want to hear the answer?
Totally.
Okay, so this may or may not be how politicians can use music.
Hey, guys. This is Dave. Listening on YouTube from Missouri. And I was hearing about the whole Beyonce wanting to have Trump not play her music anymore. This has happened every year. It happened even back in 2020 when Brian May from Queen wanted him to stop using Queen music. Mm-hmm. The thing is, if you have your music in a catalog like BMI or ASCAP or CSAC, you are giving those catalogs the right to disseminate your music.
Yeah.
So if you purchase the license, then you can use whatever songs are in those catalogs, and those artists can't say anything about it because they've relinquished their right to say who gets to use it, as long as you paid those rights. From my understanding, venues can purchase licensing. Mm-hmm. Even campaigns can purchase licensing through those. I used to work for a college where I had to deal with licensing myself in playing music, live music with composers. So as long as they've purchased the rights, the artist has no say. And especially if the artist doesn't own their own copyright anymore, then they really don't have a say. It's the person who owns the copyright for the song. They have the right to put those songs on those publishing clearance houses, and then you buy the rights. You get to use it however you want, as long as it's just being played. As long as you're not altering the music, that's a different kind of license. But anyway, thought I'd let you guys know about that. Love the show. Keep it up. Talk to you later.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It's amazing how much I know about so much, isn't it, Casey?
It's incredible. It really
I basically
is
had that.
something.
I had that, and thank you to that guy for calling to confirm.
Mm-hmm.
I basically had that down to a T.
Yeah.
I mean, Casey,
Yeah, Rob.
what other person could have a mastery of Indiana's property tax system,
Right.
and the ASCAP BMI CSAC system?
Yeah.
I mean, and we give this show away for free every day.
Well,
Can
you do
believe it?
collect a paycheck.
But I mean, I'm saying we just put it out into the ether at no charge.
And that guy called and confirmed.
I mean, I would challenge anybody else, any other media figure in the state of Indiana, to have the diversity, to have not only a mastery of the Indiana property tax system, but the CSAC, BMI, ASCAP music licensing system.
Yeah, and we appreciate him listening or watching whatever he's doing on the YouTube from Missouri, the Show Me State.
Absolutely.
So the question is, did Donald Trump buy a license?
He has
to be able to play that music.
There's no way, given all the enemies he would have in the music industry, that he would, because you can get sued if you don't have the BMI, CSAC, ASCAP licenses.
Yeah.
There's no way he would open him, or his people would allow him to be open to that, because you seriously, without a license, can be sued, and it doesn't usually go well.
Do you know what law firm it is that does the auditing on that? Mr. I Know Everything?
Well, generally, now with ASCAP, BMI, and CSAC, they have their own in-house people that will always contact you. Like if you were to get behind on your payment or when you buy a venue or whatever and you do it, they generally give you a grace period and say, hey, we've noticed you haven't signed up for this. Would they have some sort of outside counsel that does that?
Yeah, they've got an auditor. You got to fill out reports and send it to them. And they look through it and then report back to ASCAP and BMI.
Oh.
You don't know, do you?
No idea.
It's weird, I know.
Oh. Were you not in compliance? Is that how you know?
No, I'm the one who actually had to fill out those forms.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're asking, like, is it Matlock? Like, you're asking me, like, I should know it's somewhere.
Well, you just said you knew so much. I was just curious how deep that knowledge level went.
Well, why would I know about something I didn't ever even have to do? What are we doing here, lady?
It's Deloitte and Touche, by the way.
Who?
Deloitte and Touche.
It sounds like the name of a toilet supply company.
What's your take on the Fed saying that he's laid the groundwork for interest rate cuts ahead?
Well, the Fed is a political organization. Don't kid yourself. That's what they are. And I'm sure Jerome Powell's getting immense pressure to try to save this economy by the Democrats. But, I mean, you're not going to be able to cut yourself out of this. I mean, there's structural damage to the American economy.
He said that the time has come for the policy to adjust, although it didn't provide any indication of exactly the timing or the extent or what exactly they're going to do. They're just softballing that out there for you.
We act like we're in some sort of unprecedented territory here. What are our interest rates? 6.5%, 7%, whatever they are. Like, this is normal. 2% is not normal. 3% is not normal. Money should not be cheap. Money should have value. I mean, it's not 13, which is where it, was at crisis points in the late 70s, early 80s. It's at like 6.5%, 7%. Is it a little prohibitive for some people? Yes, but the prohibitive nature is not the interest rate. It's the price of the houses. It's the housing prices. I mean, there's structural damage to our economy. And all you're going to do by cutting interest rates is you're going to make everything more expensive. Like, that's just amazing to me. Now, again, they're political people. They're not your friend. They don't care about you. He's simply because he's appointed by the president, and he wants to keep his job.
Okay, so with the DNC wrapped up, there was one conversation that I wanted to share with you. A reporter caught up with WNBA star Angel Reese, and they were asking her about her opinion on Kamala Harris, who she met back in 22 when she was part of the championship women's
at LSU.
Yeah, at LSU, the NCAA championship team. And so she gave what I thought was somewhat of a refreshing answer.
Vice President. Hi. How are you? Good. How are you? Nice to meet you. Good. Nice to meet you. Vice President candidate Kamala Harris. Oh, wow. Is a woman and she's doing her thing. Her running for president. Have you got a chance to watch her? What are your thoughts on her running for political office? I haven't been able to tap a lot into the political election and everything going on. So I'm not that educated right now, but just continue to learn and just give feedback. But everybody go out there and vote. I commend that, and I just tell a lot of people to go out there and vote because we need it for this election. Hey, Angel.
So it was one of those good and bad things. He's asking her about Kamala Harris the way he asked that question. She's a woman.
Right.
She's doing her thing, running for president, assuming, okay, you're obviously going to support her, right? Reese says, you know what, I'm not educated on it enough. I'm not going to give my opinion. Full stop. That's when she should have ended it. But then she goes on to say, but go out and vote.
But this is what always floors me about people who put no time into. How could you not know? Like, these people they tell you what to do. They tell you what you can and can't do. How could you? I mean, I agree politically or from a PR standpoint, good answer.
Yeah.
Right? Way better than just making some blanket stupid statement like athletes often do. But again, how could you not know or be aware like who these people are and what they want to do and having whatever your opinion is your opinion, but it's just like what are you doing with your life where this doesn't matter to you?
It's not a top priority for her. Clearly.
Right. I mean, they are going to take your money. They're going to tell you what you can do with your property. They're going to, all of these things. I mean, I'm blown away when people say, I don't know, I haven't been paying attention. I just am knocked over. I mean, I'm not stunned anymore, but it's just like, why would you not want to know what's going on around you?
She seemed like she was a little surprised by the question because he says, it's a leading question, and her response initially is, oh, wow. Kind of like, okay, you're going to go there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the male hobbies that are least attractive to
That's
women.
right. Yes, that's right. Mhm.
And we went through those, playing video games, collecting figurines, magic tricks, gambling, taxidermy, comic book collecting, and bird watching are all on the list.
Oh, yeah.
But here's the question. Are there any female hobbies that is so bad that you're unwilling to date or marry a girl no matter how awesome she is? She has this horrible hobby.
Well,
Can you think of any?
This isn't really a hobby, but Kevin and I were talking about this off air when you grossed us all out by letting us know that you had to make a gigantic bowel movement before the show.
I did not say that. I said I
began.
used the restroom.
Like there's no. I don't want to ponder women going to the restroom. I mean, I know you do it, and you're human, so I know how it works.
It's not a hobby.
Well, but you were so proud of it. You're
I
like,
was not. I was telling you.
You're like,
I gotta leave the studio during the commercial
I
break.
might not even be able to make it through the first segment because I gotta go.
TMI.
You were so proud of it, Casey. You were like,
I love how you exaggerate things. And then I said, all right, I'm going to go. And you were like, really? And I said, I have to pee.
Oh.
Would you consider a hobby, when women share their entire lives on social media, like the influencers, would you consider that to be a female hobby?
Some of them act like it is a hobby, right?
Yeah, I would say that's an unattractive one.
Now, which part is it? The life or the food? Because a lot of people just post pictures of their food.
Yeah, I guess they have different
or
niches.
their fit check, right?
Yeah. I mean, I just think it's all, if you're obsessed with it to that point, I think it's all too much.
That's where you draw the line.
yeah, but Kev, you're a single guy, so I can ask you this. Don't you want to see what you're working with? I mean, don't you want to see as much as possible about what you're potentially working with?
Yeah, I guess so. But
I mean, if you're going to buy a house, you want to walk through the house, right? I mean, you want to see every room in the
yeah. I guess you do.
House.
You can gather information from it.
Yeah, information, Kev. That's what I meant. You want to gather information, right?
That's what you're getting at.
I mean, now the problem, like Kevin would have, is it's so what are they filtered now or whatever that you don't even know what's real and what's not.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not really looking at that and thinking, oh, that's who she is. Like,
Yeah.
she's showing everything.
Kev's problem is he's a decent human being, and he seeks decency in an undecent world.
Yeah.
And Kevin's working from a rational perspective of if this person needs to be seen on Instagram or Facebook or whatever,
attention-seeking
all
behavior.
the time, what sort of meaningful relationship am I going to have with them? Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean, you're kind of that way. You post all the time.
I don't.
Really?
I post less than you.
Really?
If you want to talk about attention-seeking
But
behavior.
I don't post photos of myself.
No, you post photos of your dog.
I posted a photo of my dog on his birthday. You want to tag a dog on his birthday, Casey? Is that what we're going to do?
No.
I posted a photo of my dog on his 10th birthday.
That's actually how we started the show,
That's
talking
correct.
about your dog.
But you're on TikTok or whatever that is, the dance apps, and the
Yeah.
Stitcher, and
Yeah, the TikTok dances are a whole other thing.
That's the next level for you? All right.
Uh,
So if you want to date Kevin, keep that in mind.
You have such opportunity, Kev. You're like a celebrity, and you're way too modest. You're in a band and everything else, and you just don't take full advantage of it. I'd be beating women off with a stick if I had your advantages. Hey, Mind Your Manners is next.
Yeah, Susan Beckwith is going to join us. It's 93 WIBC.
Coming up on Tony Katz today, I watched every bit of the DNC. Did the Democrats think the people were going to fall for that? That's after the news at noon on 93 WIBC.
Are you within 5 years of filing for Social Security? Get this, 96% of Americans, 96% forfeit an average of $111,000 in Social Security income, and it's all because, unfortunately, they file for their benefits at the wrong time. Learn how you can avoid this with a free customized Social Security analysis. It's from Bill Demery, your retirement guy right here in Indy.
So if you've saved more than $200,000 for retirement and have not yet
filed for Social Security. Schedule that free analysis right now by calling Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. Bill Demery. For some people, filing for Social Security early could result in more net income in retirement. The free analysis pinpoints exactly how you could get the most income from Social Security. Bill Demery, 317-648-5120. That's 317-648-5120.
Tire Discounters announces our latest breakthrough, TD Chat BS. This software allows us to detect untruths, deceptions, and even outright lies. Let's listen in as we call a local car dealer.
Hi, I drive your model of auto or truck. I need servicing.
Oh, that's great. You should always call the dealer for service to make sure your warranty stays intact.
Untruth.
Excuse me?
I can attend at Tire Discounters for all services, even for all manufacturers' scheduled maintenance. Warranty not affected.
But it's only us dealers who really know our own models.
Deception. Tire Discounters ASE technicians are certified experts for all makes and models.
Okay, maybe.
How many dollars do you charge me for? As few as Tire Discounters?
We are not that much more.
Outright lie. Ending call now. Bye.
No,
Adios. Aloha. Hasta la pasta.
Don't miss our Savor the Summer sale, now till Labor Day.
You've got a Pepto predicament, Beach Bum.
Hey, we're heading down to the beach. You coming?
Yeah, Dad. You coming?
I had a little too much to eat at the resort buffet. I need a minute. Oh, you overdid it. And now your beach vacation is giving you belly waves. Undo it with Pepto.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Pepto chewables provide fast 5-symptom relief so you can get back to making memories.
Let's go, Dad!
When you overdo it, undo it with Pepto. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Mom, meet Sarah.
From first-time Nana moments.
And welcome to Flight 101.
To annual girls trip moments. Your can't-miss moments are worth protecting against RSV. If you're 75 or older or 60 plus with a chronic condition like asthma, COPD, heart disease, or severe diabetes, you're at higher risk of landing in the hospital from RSV. And there are no prescription RSV treatments. Check eligibility and schedule your RSV vaccine at vaxassist.com.
So where should we go next?
Sponsored by Pfizer.
Never miss your favorite shows on WIBC. Get your content to go. Tony Katz, Kendall and Casey, Hammer and Nigel, Tony Kennett, The Gun Guy, Home and Garden. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Susan, looks like I'm losing.
Casey, question.
What's that, Rob?
You ever been a freeloader in someone's house?
Probably.
Yeah.
I've had freeloaders, too.
You just kicked one out, didn't you? Sent her all the way to Baltimore.
Right, exactly. The biggest freeloader of all.
Yeah, okay, it is the Kendall and Casey show. I'm Rob. Casey's here. It's that time, Casey.
Yeah.
We wrap up the work week with, giving a gift to our audience. We send them into the weekend with the tools necessary to be better members of society.
Mm-hmm.
And in order to do that, we don't just bring in any amateur, any, old advice person. We go to an expert.
Yes.
Former Miss Indiana. Her name is Susan Beckwith. She joins us now on the topic this week, how to be a decent house guest. All right, Susan, I wouldn't want Casey anywhere near freeloading in my house, but let's make her a better person, and then maybe
Nice.
I'll be open to it.
Well, hello. Yes, I loved this article that actually came from the Emily Post Institute. So Emily Post, like etiquette guru, some of her grandchildren have continued on her legacy, and they have this institute. And this article, one of the things that starts out with that I really appreciate is the duration. They cover how long should one keep their visit to, and I am so curious what your opinion is before I share what their thoughts are.
That's in the house. How long should you be in someone's house?
Yes, like if you're going to be an overnight guest, how long or what do you feel like is an appropriate amount of time to stay?
I'm done with you after 2 days.
I was going to say, I think it's 2 to 3 nights max.
You guys are awesome. Yes, that is correct. That is the recommended amount of time. And actually, Benjamin Franklin, he had a famous quote that said, guests, like fish, begin to smell after 3 days.
Yeah. I mean, technically, I'm ready for you to go after 1 day. But I'll give you a little bit of
grace period.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like whatever we were going to do, we did the first day. So
Yeah,
we're done. I mean, we're
You
just.
did all the catching up.
This is just some sort of victory tour here, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm done with this. Okay, so 2 to 3 days max is how long you should be in someone's house.
Yes, and I just have to tell you this very, very quick story. So I happened to just look it up online as far as like what were some stories around this, and this newlywed couple was sharing kind of a horror story, and their in-laws came to visit, and they were from California. They lived on the East Coast, so not like out of country. She spent a lot of time making that initial meal for them, and at that meal, they said that their return flight was in 3 weeks.
Oh, wow. No, you need to know the exit date up front.
Oh.
Yeah.
No surprises.
Yeah, exactly. So that was good. So duration, 2 to 3 nights. Something else, we kind of talked about this just last week as far as with bathroom etiquette and talking about making sure that you wipe down sinks, just pick up after yourself. Hopefully you would know to do that. But what do you do with the towels? Well, it's appropriate to ask your guest what they want you to do with them. Do they want you to take them to the laundry room, to leave them in the bathroom? And that also goes for the sheets. Be sure just to ask your host or hostess what they would like for you to do them at the end of your stay.
Wait. You're saying if someone stays at my house, I got to do like multiple loads of laundry so they can have a different towel every single day? I mean, what's wrong with the reusing the towel? This seems like a lot of. This is why I don't have people over to my house. Period.
No. I'm saying at the end of your stay, yes,
I gotcha.
You should. So sorry if I wasn't clear on that. Yes, you should ask your host or hostess, like, what would you like me to do?
Oh, I gotcha. Okay, so much better. This is that's so much better. I thought you were saying me as the host, I had to ask the guest whether or not I should wash the towels for them.
Yes, preferably you'll give
coffee.
them. Yeah, preferably you'll give your guests clean towels, Rob.
Oh man,
not one that you've cleaned up after Bruce.
I was like, oh my gosh, this is just a nightmare. Don't go anywhere with anyone ever. Okay, so first of all, 2 to 3 days. Then when you're done, pick up after yourself and figure out what to do with the towels and the sheets. What else?
Okay, so be sure to offer to help with them, help them in the kitchen. It's a lot of work on a host or hostess, so that's something that you can do that's, very much appreciated. So be helpful. If you're going to stay for a long period of time, it's actually even appropriate to offer to help with some of the grocery expense.
Yeah, or do the grocery shopping with them and split the bill, or...
Yes.
What's the longest someone's ever stayed at your house, Casey?
My in-laws stayed for, it was like a 6 to 7 week stay once.
What are you even saying?
Yeah, they were in between residents and needed a place to crash.
Sure. Well, that's sort of like charity, right?
It is like charity, Rob. Exactly like charity.
I almost covered in-law etiquette this week, but I know my brother-in-law, DJ, is a faithful listener all the way in North Carolina, so I was like, I got to be really ready.
I'm curious if in-law etiquette is different than other guest etiquette.
Well, that's interesting because I want to approach it from a manners perspective, but a lot of, in-law etiquette that I've been researching and studying about, it's almost like relationship, navigating. And so it's there's less, I feel like, from a manners like do's and don'ts. But yeah, so maybe that'll be coming in a future episode or a future segment.
It's Mind Your Manners. Susan Beckwith, a couple minutes left with her. It's guest etiquette, how to not be a drag on society if you have to go into someone else's house. Okay, you got one more for us?
Yeah, so we kind of talked about some of the things that you should do. Here's one that you should not, and that is bring your pet without having some sort of approval.
Oh, yeah, that makes
sense.
sense.
Bring your dog.
Yeah. So, Rob, don't show up with Bruce without prior authorization.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, if you live in a dungeon like I do, it's fine. But if you live in a nice palatial estate like you, a high rise, you wouldn't want dog hair everywhere.
We want a warning before you come with the pet. That makes complete sense.
Did you replace your pet yet, by the way?
No.
You lost the cat.
Lost the cat.
The demon cat is gone.
She's not a demon cat. She's quite sweet.
Susan, back me up on this. Cats are demons, right?
I am not a cat person.
Thank you. That's why we're friends. Now, are you going to get a dog? I mean, I know you were all over the map on getting another dog. Are you in or out?
I am still holding strong.
Good
and
for
so,
you.
yes. You know what, though? I was watching a clip, though, about somebody that trains dogs, and one of the breeds that she said that she would love to have is a Doberman, and I was curious about that breed. So maybe some listeners can message me if they have one and they love it. So
my
those are
brother
beautiful dogs.
My brother had a miniature pinscher, a min pin. So it's like that.
Oh, what? He had a what?
A min pin.
That's not even a real thing.
No, it is. It's like the Doberman, only smaller.
A min? He walked around telling people,
it's a min pin.
My min pin is beautiful. Like, really? That's a thing?
Oh, trust me, the Colonel has no problem being a manly man. So, yeah.
My min pin. Hey, speaking of contacting you, tell us about your very fabulous website and Facebook page.
Yeah, so come and, let me know if you have a dog recommendation. I eventually think we'll end up one. But while you're there, you can check out my blog. We've got all kinds of topics that cover social etiquette topics. Be sure to sign up for my newsletter. We will be rolling out some Manners for Children's classes this fall at the coffee shop in Noblesville here at the Life Church Coffee House.
You should totally get a bulldog. That dog would wreck your museum house, and it would be awesome.
For entertainment purposes
and
only.
Your daughter would be so happy. Belle of the Midwest, Belle of the Midwest. Find it on Facebook as well as belleofthemidwest.com. Susan, back with you. You're the best. Thank you.
Have a good one.
Yeah, you too. And that's going to do it for us today. Thanks, Rob. Thanks, Kevin. And thank you for listening. Have a wonderful weekend. We'll catch you back here on Monday. It's Kendall and Casey on 93 WIBC.
Are you ready to smell better naked? I'm Dr. Shannon Klingman, the OBGYN creator of Lumi, the whole body deodorant that's clinically proven to control odor for 72 hours on pits, feet, privates, and beyond. It's pH optimized to safely and effectively control odor anywhere you have it, but wish you didn't. Plus, it's proven to work better than a shower with soap alone. Whether you shower twice a day or 3 times a week, Lumi works better.